Noon Eastern on NFL Radio Channel 88 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
While you're listening to this game on Sirius XM, we're talking about the latest odds and prop bets for this and every game on Sports Grid Radio.
The under's minus 125. Heavy juice to the under.
Every home run hit and every strikeout thrown can change the line.
I can't for the life of me figure out how you can favor a team that never wins, ever.
If you're looking for sports talk centered around the latest odds and prop bets for games, races, tournaments, or any sporting event, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
Toronto. This
slams the ball to right field, way back, way gone.
Is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Low rounding and heading for second to throw. In time
on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
From one wild card hopeful to another, the Blue Jays lost a heartbreaker in extra innings to the Braves yesterday, which helped Atlanta back into the postseason picture. And the Braves are now tied in the final wild card spot with the club that comes to Toronto today. The New York Mets are in town for 3. Hi, everyone. Hope you've stayed dry today. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali is our host and producer, and our technical directors are Andrew Adams and Tom Young. Toronto Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Grand Falls and Miramichi, New Brunswick. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection. The Mets waltz into Toronto as one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. Prior to a loss yesterday against the Reds, powered by late heroics from Santiago Espinal, New York had won 9 straight. The Blue Jays try to spoil the Mets' playoff bid with Ryan Burr opening tonight for Toronto against Tyler McGill. First pitch is next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming on the Sportsnet app at sportsnet.ca and across the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today for a special offer.
What's up, baseball fans? Thanks for hanging out with us for this Toronto Blue Jays matchup. Really appreciate you guys being here and chatting it up. Please take a second to smash that like button down below. Hit that thumbs up for us. It helps bring more fans into the chat and helps the channel grow. The more likes, the better. Thank you guys so much for smashing that like button. Now let's get back to the baseball. Let's go Blue Jays. Finish strong.
Home estimate, call today. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's building center. Visit timbermart.ca.
Embrace the power.
That is bold.
And speed of the NTT IndyCar Series on Sirius XM.
Joseph Newgarden wins the Indy 500.
It's the season finale this weekend in Nashville, Sunday afternoon at 3 Eastern at the Music City Grand Prix.
That was sweet.
Nice job, guys.
From the green to the checkers.
Flies under the twin checkers.
Hear every thrilling lap live on IndyCar Nation Channel 218.
Alex Malone.
Thank you so much.
And on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Can you believe
You
it?
are the man.
Sirius XM NFL Radio is your home for the National Football League all year long on Channel 88 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Network.
Plan for Bo is to start playing in Buffalo tomorrow down in Gwinnett. He's going to play about 3 to 5 innings at short. Probably get a handful of games in there, and whether it's short DH, kind of see how he feels every day. You know, best case would be later on this week if all goes well. Probably more realistic just with the time he's missed, that Texas looks like it might line up better. He's been moving around really well for a while now and kind of chomping at the bit. So as long as he's feeling good and gets, a decent number of at-bats and innings played, we'll kind of revisit it this weekend. And if he can get back, that'd be great.
That was Blue Jays manager John Schneider talking today about the imminent return of Bo Bichette, about to start his rehab coming up tomorrow in Atlanta. The Blue Jays, though, are back at home in Toronto. The New York Mets in town for 3 games. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, this is another feisty, playoff hopeful team, maybe the hottest in all of the National League.
Yeah, the Mets are 9-1 in their last 10. They're a good offensive team. We're going to see in this lineup today 8 guys that are batting from the right side of the plate. I think Ryan Yarbrough is going to come in after Ryan Burr, and that's going to be interesting because Ryan Yarbrough isn't really pitching all that well against righties this season. A .253 opponent's batting average. Against lefties, ironically, a .129 opponent's batting average. So I'm really interested to see Ryan Yarbrough today.
Ryan Burr, like you said, will get the open, though. We're about to go through the lineups, but first let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19-plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Blue Jays are 68-76 right now, 14.5 games out of the division lead and 8.5 out of the wild card. But on the other side, the New York Mets, 78-65, briefly were in sole possession of that final wild card spot. But after their loss yesterday and the Braves' comeback win over the Blue Jays, it's a tie for that third wild card spot and second spot in the NL East. Both the Braves and Mets 7 games back of the Philadelphia Phillies. As Carlos Mendoza's team tries to continue a huge second half of the year, who are they going to have in the lineup tonight, Chris?
Well, leading off for the Mets and playing shortstop is Francisco Lindor. At third base batting second is Mark Vientos. In left field batting third is Brandon Nimmo. Cleaning up today and playing first base is Pete Alonso. Batting fifth is Jose Iglesias. He'll be at second base. DHing and batting sixth is JD Martinez. Batting seventh is Starling Marte. He'll be in right field. In center field, batting eighth is Harrison Bader. And batting ninth is Francisco Alvarez. He'll be catching tonight. On the mound for the New York Mets, making his 12th start of the year, is Tyler McGill. For the Toronto Blue Jays, leading off and playing right field is George Springer. In center field, batting second is Dalton Varsho. Batting third is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He'll be DHing tonight. At first base, in the cleanup spot, is Spencer Horowitz. Batting fifth is Will Wagner. He'll play second base. Behind the plate, batting sixth is Alejandro Kirk. Playing third base, batting seventh is Addison Barger. Batting eighth is Leo Jimenez. He'll be at shortstop. And batting ninth is Nathan Lucas. He'll be in left field. On the mound tonight is Ryan Burr.
Right-hander making his 27th appearance of the season. He's opened for the Blue Jays before. This will be technically his second start of the year, although he also started that resumed game in Boston that was midway through. Burr with a .444 earned run average faces Francisco Lindor, the switch hitting shortstop, to begin the day. Righty from the stretch, kicks and delivers, and Lindor takes a first pitch down and away, ball 1. Time of the first pitch today, 7:07 Eastern. The roof is closed at Rogers Center, although the flaps in the corners are open, letting some air in. Swing and a miss on the next pitch, and it's 1-1. It's 19 degrees Celsius in Toronto. It's been a wet day, so perhaps just waiting for some weather to clear before they open it up. Blue Jays in their City Connect uniforms tonight. The pitch navy or pitch blue, dark jersey and pants. 1-1. Swing and a miss by Lindor, 1-2. On the Mets side, it's the road grays with bright blue and orange popping off of the jersey. Crowd still filing in as Francisco Lindor bats to lead off the game. 1-ball, 2-strike count. First pitch. Swing and a foul back into the netting.
Good fastball right there from Ryan Burr. 95 above the strike zone. The only thing Lindor can do right there is foul it back.
And Lindor's a tough guy to beat. .270 batter with 38 doubles, 30 home runs, and 84 RBIs. 1-2. Check swing, called strike 3. Fastball at the top of the zone, freezes Lindor, 1 out.
And that is about as good as it gets. Just clipping that corner up and away to Francisco Lindor. He didn't even argue. That tells you just how good that pitch was. 95 miles an hour.
And that's really the second pitch for Ryan Burr. The slider is his lead pitch. He'll throw it almost 2/3 of the time. His pitch to Mark Vientos is a fastball again, strike one. Vientos batting with one out in the top of the first, no score. Burr rocks back, delivers. Swing and a miss. Another heater, pitching backwards a little bit, at least for Ryan Burr, and it's 0-2.
That first fastball that he threw for a strike actually had a little bit of cut to it. I'd like to see a little bit more of that.
30-year-old native of Colorado, Burr, 6'4", 220 pounds. His 0-2. And a foul ball, or did it hit him? Vientos dropped the bat as that one tipped off as something, but it almost sounded like wood. He spun back, dropped his bat, and he's starting to walk toward first. Although it looks like the call right now is foul because the Mets are on the phone.
Yeah, that very clearly hit him on the hand, so they're going to send him to first base after they take a look at this. But like we've talked about before, the players know there's slow motion replay. I don't think they're going to be faking it if he in fact did not get hit.
Yeah, it's something you're never going to win.
Right.
It'll get overturned. But because of the plastic being worn these days, sometimes it's hard to tell, at least from our viewpoint or from listening, whether it did actually hit a guy in the hand or hit him in the bat. But
yeah, and Vientos did.
They're challenging the foul ball call.
So New York is challenging.
Yeah. But Vientos does wear that guard on the top of his hand. I mean, you have to wonder, it's really thick. So is he actually going to get hit if he's not wearing that guard? Because it kind of just clipped it.
No, that's a fair point. They were just trying to announce the decision, although some technology issues going on right now with Mark Carlson's microphone, but they have overturned it rather quickly, so it's a hit batter.
That was an easy call.
So runner on first now. One out, no score, top of the first inning. Burr was cruising right until he lost control of that pitch, was ahead 0-2 on Vientos after striking out Lindor. Now he works against Brandon Nimmo, a left-handed hitter. The pitch. Just outside, ball one. We're in the first inning, which is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food. Bring nature to your backyard with Armstrong, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. 1-0 pitch, hit on the ground to second base. Charging Wagner, twists his feet, throws to second one, and Jimenez is going to hold on to it right there. They had no chance at the double play with Nimmo running hard, but they get the fielder's choice ground out, now 2 down.
Yeah, that was actually a really nice play from Will Wagner. Fielded that baseball really cleanly and then turned and threw it to Leo Jimenez. I knew as soon as he went to second base that they wouldn't get Nimmo at first.
Nimmo replaces Vientos. And Nimmo can run a little bit as well. 12 stolen bases on the year. Hasn't been caught. Big Pete Alonso up to the plate, batting from the right side. Burr peeks at first and delivers. Slider called strike. .30 home runs on the season for Pete Alonso. A down power year by his production. 31 homers, pardon me, after 46 last year. Runner takes off on the 0-1, and the pitch is a called strike, 0-2, and they're not even going to throw down. Nimmo got the jump before Burr started his motion, so Kirk just decided to prioritize framing that pitch.
That might have been the best jump I've seen all season from anybody.
For Nimmo, his 13th stolen base hasn't been caught yet. And now he's in scoring position with 2 outs in the top of the first. .02 pitch to Alonso in the dirt. Pete Alonso listed at 6'3", 245 pounds, a native of Tampa, Florida, and one of the great home run hitters of the last 5 years. In now about 6 seasons, but one of them being a COVID year, has over 220 career home runs. 1-2. Swing and a soft liner, left center field, backing up. It's caught by the shortstop Jimenez to end the inning. No runs, no hits, one left for the Mets, no score, middle of the first. Tyler McGill on the mound next. George Springer batting for the Blue Jays when we return. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com. At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting, because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
Hey, this is Dalton Varsho. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ready or not, here I come.
Tyler McGill on the mound for the New York Mets, about to start in the bottom of the first inning. No score, Blue Jays and Mets. McGill's pitch to George Springer, hit back foul, 0-1. Thanks so much for tuning in tonight. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. McGill making his 12th start of the year, 13th appearance overall, 8-5 with a near 5 earned run average. 6'7" righty, delivers down and away, ball 1. As recently as yesterday night, this was supposed to be Paul Blackburn's start for the Mets. Blackburn has been on the injured list over a month. 1-1 pitch, cut on and missed. Springer down to a knee, 1-2. But they made the decision, at least publicly this morning, to go with McGill instead, who was going to be in their bullpen if Blackburn was back. McGill ahead of Springer, 1-2. The righty winds, kicks, and delivers. Bouncing ball hit on the ground to short. Picked up by Lindor. He runs and throws it over to first for the first out.
Yeah, McGill hasn't had a ton of success in his big league career, but he's got good stuff. He's got that big fastball, that last fastball, a little sinking fastball through the zone was 96 miles an hour. He's got a cutter, a slider, a split finger. It's almost like Chirs Bassitt, where he's got 8 different pitches. You really don't know what he's going to throw.
Brings that with the high velocity as well, but like you said, just hasn't had a lot of success as a major leaguer yet. First pitch to Dalton Varsho misses down and in, ball 1. Varsho batting with 1 out and the bases empty. No score, Blue Jays and Mets. Dalton Varsho hitting .216 with 18 homers this year. 1-0. Inside, 2-0. For Tyler McGill, the season he's pitched the most in the majors was last year. Started 25 games for the Mets, threw over 120 innings. 2-0. Called strike 2-1. But last year he had a 4.70 ERA, and that's just kind of right around his career average. He's been mid-4s to low 5s in over 60 starts. 2-1. Check swing from Varsho. Called strike on 97 at the knees. 2-2.
Yeah, like we said, a big fastball from McGill. But numbers like that, I would imagine if you're not fighting for a playoff spot, that last wild card, you're a guy that might be a 4 or 5 on a team. But tough to put him in this situation when you're fighting for a wild card spot.
2-2 pitch hit back foul into the screen. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. McGill was the 5th starter for the Mets out of camp. He did win a competition in spring. But after his first start this year, he went on the injured list for an extended period with a strained shoulder. 2-2. Swing and a foul off again. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And like I said earlier, he does have really good stuff. That last fastball he threw to Dalton Varsho was 98 miles an hour.
You look at him, you look at the mix, you look at the stuff. You figure that this guy's going to be pretty tough to hit. Walks have been a little bit of an issue, but he has been hit more than you'd guess. Another 2-2, and this one misses up and away, ball 3. This year he's walked nearly 4 batters per 9, and last year he walked over 4 batters per 9, which is definitely on the higher end for starting pitchers. 3-2. Foul tip, strike 3. Varsho probably chased ball 4 there on a fastball that looked off the plate outside, and now there are 2 down.
Yeah, but that was a sinker. It looked like it was off, like right on the outside part of the plate, but then sank off the plate, and Dalton Varsho just swang right through it.
So 2 outs on 12 pitches for Tyler McGill, and now with the bases empty and no score in the home half of the first, here comes Vladimir Guerrero Jr. McGill kicks and delivers. And Guerrero pounds it off his foot, foul. Hit it so hard it rolled all the way out to Lindor at short, and Vlad has his hands on his knees right now, hunched over and dealing with the pain of just slamming that ball into the toes of his left foot.
And he does wear a lot of protection. He wears a shin guard, a top of the foot guard, and it hit him right on that guard. But as we've seen, guys still go down when they get hit off their guards.
It's just how much can an inch or 2 of plastic really do at the end of the day? I'm sure it helps, but it can't stop everything.
He looks fine now.
He does. Guerrero leading the Blue Jays in almost every offensive category. 324 this year, 40 doubles, 28 homers, 94 RBIs. 0-1. Takes inside. He also leads them with 62 walks. Vladdy waggling the bat above his right shoulder. Looking out at McGill, who gets into the wind, and the 1-1. Swing and a miss. Through that sinker, again, ran it in on Guerrero, who swung over top of it, and it's 1-2.
I really like how they're pitching him. He's thrown 3 sinkers in a row in off the plate to Vlad. You can tell that Vlad's a little bit uncomfortable with that pitch.
Guerrero stepped out for a moment, now back in the box. Bangs the barrel of his bat off the plate twice. The 1-2. Check swing. They went in with the sinker again. Ball 2, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Most pitchers are afraid to come in there 4 times in a row, but it looks like McGill is not.
A lot of guys just go down and away, but Guerrero really hasn't chased that pitch very often over the last couple months. 2-2. A miss down and in again, ball 3. They're being relentless with that sinker inside. But Guerrero seems to have picked up on it.
And the thing is, even if Vlad made contact with that pitch, he's just going to hit it foul. You can't really do anything with that pitch. I really like it. It's a good sinker at about 95, 96.
2 outs, bases empty, no score. The 3-2. Swing and a ground ball foul. That time they go to the outside part of the plate with the slider, and Guerrero stays on it. He's now kind of motioning through his swing to make sure he's fundamentally sound. Home plate umpire Stu Sherwater, Saskatchewan native, kicks away some dirt from the plate. Stan Merzell at first, Mark Carlson at second, Brian Walsh at third tonight. Another payoff pitch. Down and away, ball 4. Guerrero takes the walk as he refuses to chase that slider.
Yeah, really nice AB from Vlad there. Fouled off some tough pitches, took some tough pitches, and then he just watched that slider well off the plate outside for ball 4.
With that, here comes the man of the moment, Spencer Horwitz, who had a huge series in Atlanta, including 3 homers in the last 2 games. Bats now with Guerrero on first. The pitch. Swing and a foul back, 0-1. It was on Saturday when Horwitz really exploded for 4 hits, 2 of them homers, also a double. But then yesterday, coming off the bench as a substitute in the 8th inning, he hit a 2-run shot and then had another hit in extra innings, a 1. Swing and a foul off again back behind the plate, 0-2.
Did you ever think that you would call Spencer Horwitz the man of the moment?
Not for hitting homers, at least.
I mean, he definitely is. I agree with you for sure.
81st game now of Horwitz's season, 96th of his major league career. And he'll ask for time before the 0-2 pitch. Mets 0, Blue Jays 0, bottom of the first. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. on first base, just got a couple words from Mark Budzinski and now takes a 2.5-step lead. Held on by the right-handed first baseman Alonso. 0-2 to Horwitz, outside, ball 1.
And you could just tell that McGill really doesn't have a feel for a lot of his pitches. Throws 8 different pitches, but he doesn't really have a good feel for any of them. Even the fastball is a little bit erratic at times.
One-two. Swing and a liner down the right field line, base hit rolling into the corner. Guerrero around second. He's headed to third, and they're going to hold him up there. Horwitz into second base jogging with a stand-up double, and the Blue Jays have 2 in scoring position.
And again, Spencer Horwitz does a good job of getting that barrel to the baseball. That was actually a good pitch from McGill, a 4-seam fastball at 97 miles an hour in off the plate, and Spencer Horwitz just hammers it down the line. Almost too hard. If it was a little softer, Vlad would have scored on that ball.
He is loving the ball in, though, recently. Horwitz hit 2 of his 3 home runs in the last 2 days on inside pitches. And there he comes up with an extra base hit, so 2 are in scoring position, and there are 2 outs with Will Wagner up. The pitch. Upstairs, ball 1. Wagner, of course, the son of Billy Wagner, who's most remembered for pitching with the Astros, but the team he pitched with second most in his career was the New York Mets. 3 full seasons and a little bit of 2009 also. 1-0 pitch, inside 2-0. Billy saved over 100 games for the Mets between 2006 and 2008 and was an all-star in 2 of those 3 seasons. That was right around when Will was 9-10 years old. 2-0. Inside, ball 3.
And Will Wagner's starting to make a name for himself as well.
Absolutely.
Good for him.
.329 batting average in 21 games, 6 doubles, 2 homers, and he's driven in 11. 2 ducks on the pond for him right now. Horwitz on second, Guerrero on third. 3-0. Taken all the way. It misses low, ball 4. And like you said with the feel for McGill, I mean, that's a 3-0 pitch to a rookie. You pretty much know he's taking, and he still missed with the fastball.
Yeah, even though that the first base bag is open, McGill wasn't trying to be careful to Will Wagner there. He was just trying to throw a strike, and that last pitch, that last 3-0 pitch, was nowhere near the strike zone.
Jeremy Hefner, the pitching coach, out to the mound. You had mentioned McGill has such a deep mix like Chirs Bassitt. Part of the reason Bassitt has that mix is because he doesn't have the overwhelming velocity, and he's, using a different strategy to get guys out. Do you think there's a chance, and obviously you're not coaching and haven't played with McGill, that he has too many pitches, maybe, considering how good his stuff is?
Absolutely. I was thinking that when I was researching him today. I was like, why does this guy throw 98 miles an hour and have 8 different pitches? If you can locate that fastball and then maybe throw a couple of wrinkles in there, you're going to be good. There's no need to throw 8 different pitches. Like you said, it's because Chirs Bassitt doesn't have overwhelming stuff.
Bases loaded, 2 down. Alejandro Kirk up to the plate for the Blue Jays. And just a little bit of a pause in the action, but it looks like we're ready to go again. The pitch from McGill. Fastball right at the knees for strike 1. Guerrero on third, Horwitz on second, Wagner on first. And McGill back into the windup with the bases loaded. The 0-1. Down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Two walks in the inning for McGill, sandwiched in the middle, a Spencer Horwitz double. 1-1. Swing and a ground ball back to the pitcher. He gloves it and underhand flips to first to end the inning. The Blue Jays come up with a hit and 2 walks, but they do not score, leave 3 on, and will go to the second inning. No score, Blue Jays and Mets at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This is Dave LaGreca, creator of the biggest pro wrestling show on the planet, Busted Open. Don't miss myself and my Hall of Fame cast and crew as we break down every story in and out of the ring and talk to the top names in the business, like the legend himself, The Undertaker.
I'm actually glad to be on a real show.
Catch Busted Open live every day from 9 to noon Eastern on SiriusXM Fight Nation, channel 156, and on the SiriusXM app.
SiriusXM has everything a college football fan needs.
He's in trouble and down he goes. The ball comes out.
All the big games are on the SiriusXM app.
Down the sidelines midfield. It's a race. Picking him up, putting him down.
Plus, hear daily in-depth analysis on College Sports Radio, channel 84.
There's not a lot of holes or weaknesses on that football team, and they've got the goods where you want to have the goods for a championship caliber roster.
Our experts get you ready for game day every day on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
I'm John Paul Morosi, host of the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown. Each week, I talk with a Baseball Hall of Famer about the challenges they overcame to become an all-time great.
It is a hard game, and mentally it's hard.
My legs started shaking.
They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure. Would I ever play baseball again?
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Episodes are available now on the all-new SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Fantasy football players, from start-sit decisions to waiver wire advice. Win your fantasy football league with Fantasy Sports Radio, channel 87, and on the SiriusXM app.
That radio network.
It's the second inning, presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. No score, Blue Jays and Mets. Second inning starts with Jose Iglesias leading off. The pitch from Ryan Burr. Outside, ball 1. Second inning of work for Burr, the Blue Jays opener. John Schneider told us to expect Ryan Yarbrough to pitch a large part of this game. 1-0. Swing and a foul tip, 1-1.
Do you think Ryan Yarbrough will still, as the roof starts to open, do you think Ryan Yarbrough will still pitch the bulk of this game even though there are 8 right-handed hitters in that Mets lineup?
I think so. 1-1, hit foul, 1-2. What I think might happen, though, is that the Blue Jays might not go right from Burr to Yarbrough. Right. They might throw a righty in there, almost daring Carlos Mendoza to pinch hit some of his lefties that are on the bench, and then maybe put Ryan Burr in the game. 1-2. Swing and a grounder, foul, and Iglesias stays alive.
You should be managing.
No, I should not. No, I should not. Jose Iglesias, though, leading off for the Mets. A veteran, a guy who's been around for a long time at this point in his career. Debuted with Boston in 2011. 1-2. Swing and a fly ball, right center field. Moving toward it, Dalton Varsho stops and makes the catch. 1 out.
The interesting thing that I noticed before the game is every game, the starting pitchers for the Toronto Blue Jays that aren't starting in that game, they go watch the starting pitcher for that day warm up. They walk into the bullpen with that starting pitcher. And today with Ryan Burr, the opener, they didn't do that.
Kind of not a starter. First pitch to J.D. Martinez in the dirt, ball 1.
When he was walking in from the bullpen, I thought to myself, he looks really lonely.
Yeah. I mean, he is, by the technical term, a starter today for the Blue Jays, but I think everyone knows he's not really. 1-0 pitch now to Martinez. Outside, ball 2. Blue Jays and Mets tied at 0. 1 out, top of the second, base is empty. Martinez, the DH for the Mets, and number 6 hitter today. 2-0. Swing and a foul back into the screen.
Oh, boy, that was a challenge pitch. 93 right down the middle. J.D. Martinez, I can guarantee that he wants that pitch back.
Martinez, a guy with 331 homers in his major league career. 2-1. Fastball on the outside corner, strike 2. On one-year deals each of the last 2 years for Martinez. This year with the Mets, last year with the Dodgers. Very productive for the Dodgers last year and still fairly productive for the Mets this year. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ties him up with a heater up and in. And a little fist bump from Ryan Burr. Don't see a lot of emotion from him on the mound all the time. There are 2 down.
I'd be excited, too, if I'm going inside to a big, powerful hitter like that and he swings right through it. I'd be pumped, but that's his 100th career strikeout. Maybe that's why he was fist bumping.
Absolutely. And he gets it, like you said, against a pretty good guy. Burr now getting the baseball back. 2 outs. Bases empty and more wind coming into the ballpark with the roof opening. Starling Marte is up, and he takes strike 1. A former teammate of Chris LaRue's, Starling Marte, batting .271 in 80 games this year. 0-1 pitch. Called strike, 0-2.
And I always say that he's the most muscular guy I've ever seen on the baseball field. A lot of guys talk about Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, Tyler O'Neill. But if you saw this guy with his shirt off, you'd agree with me, I promise you.
The 0-2. Swing and a grounder foul. A little check swing from Marte, and he just sent it down the first baseline. I was gonna challenge you with those guys. You played with Tyler O'Neill and Giancarlo Stanton.
I've seen Giancarlo and Tyler with their shirts off. I've seen him with his shirt off. He's number 1.
0-2 pitch. Swing and a foul back once again.
I'm gonna stop talking about that now.
That's shocking. I gotta say, it is shocking. Marte, a long portion of his career with the Mets, 2013 to 2019. Has moved around a lot since time with Arizona, Miami, Oakland. Now the last 3 seasons with the Mets. 0-2. Inside, Marte jumps out of the way.
And he's been good, too. Just solid everywhere he's been.
Big stolen base threat. Plays a couple different spots in the outfield. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ryan Burr punches him out with a slider. How about 2 scoreless, hitless innings for Burr? We go to the middle of the second. No score, Blue Jays and Mets. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikeys accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
So, you want to be a Looney Dogger, eh? Every Tuesday Blue Jays home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Grab $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around Rogers Center. Plus, stop by the Schneider's Porch, your hot dog headquarters. The destination for a one-of-a-kind hot dog experience with excellent ballpark views. So, whether you're the relish ringleader or 7th-inning snacker, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. Don't miss out on this delicious deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Next pitch, Moniak takes off. It's low a ball, throw down to second. They got him!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the second inning, scoreless ballgame. Blue Jays and Mets at now an open-roofed Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. Addison Barger leading off, swings and misses at a first pitch from Tyler McGill, a cutter that gets McGill ahead 0-1. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue on hand. Much nicer now with the roof open, the 0-1. Swing and a foul back, 0-2.
I need some paperweights now.
That is
My
true.
papers are going flying. You have a binder, so you're lucky.
Yeah, I still got, that's when you take the car keys out of your pocket. You lean them on the papers to your right. 7-8-9 for the Blue Jays this inning, starting with Barger. The 0-2 is low. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
We were talking about this at the break, but I always get a kick out of when the roof is opening during a baseball game. You look down in the visiting dugout, and about half the team is just staring up in awe at the CN Tower.
1-2 pitch. Foul tip, strike 3. For a lot of these Mets, it could be their first time being here. I mean, some of them have been on American League teams and have been here with other teams, but the Mets have not been at Rogers Center or in Toronto in general since 2018. Last time the Blue Jays had a home game against the Mets was 2020 at Salem Field. 1 out, Leo Jimenez is up to the plate. McGill winds and delivers. Fouled back, 0-1.
And then I guess to kind of finish off this conversation, you probably have to think that some of them that have played here before, either the dome was closed or they've never seen it opening during a game.
Right. It still is moving around right now, some of the elements of the dome. McGill looking in at Leo Jimenez, 6'7" righty, steps to the plate, kicks and delivers. And the 0-1 is hit on a line foul right side, 0-2.
That last fastball that he struck out Addison Barger on was really impressive. A lot of down angle, life through the zone, 97 miles an hour. Keep in mind, this guy is 6'7", throwing upper 90s fastballs.
He gets way down the mound, 99th percentile extension. 0-2. Swing and a fly ball hit very high to right center field, not super deep. Talented center fielder Harrison Bader into the gap, makes a two-handed catch, and there are 2 down. Tomorrow night is the annual Sportsnet Jays Care broadcast auction. It will feature once-in-a-lifetime opportunities that can also be won through Jays Care's add-on raffle, like a trip to Puerto Rico or tickets to the Taylor Swift The Eras Tour. Visit BlueJays.com/5050. Select your add-on raffle tickets at checkout, and you could win some of the best prizes. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for the auction and the game. 2 outs, and the pitch to Nathan Lucas misses upstairs and outside, ball 1.
You can hang out with us. We have a coffee machine just behind us. It's free. You don't have to pay for it.
Some free pop back there, too. 1-0. Swing and a ground ball right side. Sliding stop on the backhand by the first baseman Alonso. Throws off his knees to McGill, who just beats Lucas to the bag to end the inning. McGill bounces back after a tough first with a 1-2-3, bottom of the second. And we go to the third, where it looks like Luis Frias is coming on for the Blue Jays. No score. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays are inviting you to work from Dome. Put it in your calendar. 307 weekday starts this season. You can work from Dome with friends or coworkers at Rogers Center. It's a game changer. Make the ballpark your office for the afternoon. Work from Dome, 307 weekday starts. Let's touch base. Check out ticket options on BlueJays.com/workfromdome.
We're 2meninatruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2meninatruck, 2meninatruck.ca. So when you gotta move, I'll move them day. Think 2meninatruck, 2meninatruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2meninatruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
The 0-2 pitch. Fastball, strike 3 looking.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The third inning is brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Grand Falls and Miramichi, New Brunswick. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned crown@crown.com. Canada's #1 rust protection. Ryan Burr out of this scoreless game after a 2-inning appearance as an opener, and into the game is the righty Luis Frias, who makes his second Blue Jays appearance of the season and 9th overall, split between Toronto and Arizona. Right-hander winds and delivers, and the first pitch to Harrison Bader is called a strike. Bader was showing bunt but pulled it back. 0-1. Frias debuted 2 days ago on Saturday when the Blue Jays were up big in the 9th. 0-1. 95 for a called strike at the top of the zone, 0-2. And it did not go great for Frias. 5 hits, 4 earned runs in a third of an inning. Hard-throwing righty, kicks and fires, and a swing and a miss by Bader, strike 3. Used the cutter away from the right-handed hitter to get the whiff, and there's 1 out.
And how about that? Just like that, his outing today is already infinitely better than his last outing. This stuff is there. Those first 2 fastballs had a lot of life, a lot of run, 94, 95 miles an hour. He just has to throw strikes.
He got behind guys in his last outing rather than walking guys. That's what got him into trouble. First pitch to Francisco Alvarez, the catcher, is called strike 1. Well, 4 pitches, 4 strikes so far for Frias. Cutter is his main pitch, but also throws a mid to high 90s four-seamer and sinker. 0-1. Misses outside, 1-1. He'll also mix in a slider as well, which is low to mid 80s. Long black hair for the right-handed pitcher is 1-1. Fastball outside, 2-1.
Those are a lot of cutters.
So far in the majors this year, which is a small sample, throws almost 50% cutters, and he was the same in the majors last year. His 2-1. Swing and a line drive. Picked up on a hop by Wagner at second, and the throw to first in time. 2 down. Nice play. Wagner taking out this short hop behind the second base bag before throwing over to Horwitz.
Yeah, Will Wagner was positioned perfectly, shaded towards second base. I thought that ball was going up the middle. But again, if you throw strikes, good things happen. I think Luis Frias knows that. That ball was crushed right by his head, but right at somebody.
And 110-mile-per-hour out for Francisco Alvarez. Lineup flips over now. The pitch to Francisco Lindor. Swing and a miss. 0-1. What a year it's been for Lindor. Just lost his 35-game on-base streak in the Mets' loss on Sunday. But if you think about almost 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Dalton Varsho being at 22 or 23. Lindor was around that mark then and kept it going all the way in the meantime. The 0-1. High, 1-1. Now, the big question, especially around New York, is he having a good enough season to challenge Shohei Ohtani for the MVP in the National League?
You know the answer to that.
And my answer would be no. 1-1. High, 2-1.
He is having a great season. Don't get me wrong. But if the average was maybe around 300, 305, somewhere around there, then you could say he should be in the conversation. But his average is sitting at 270.
2-1 pitch. Swing and a high fly ball, left center field. Varsho started back now, moves forward and makes the catch to end the inning. 1-2-3 for Luis Frias in his Rogers Center debut. He walks off the mound in a scoreless game, and the Blue Jays have the top of the order coming up next when we resume in the bottom of the third. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports Grid Radio on Sirius XM has you covered this NFL season.
The 49ers and Jets cap off Week 1 of the NFL season in San Francisco on Monday Night Football. The line opened with the 49ers as a 6.5-point favorite and a total of 45.5. With more line movement to come, make sure you tune in to Sports Grid Radio to stay up to date on all the latest.
The place to get the winning edge over the sports books this football season is Sports Grid Radio, channel 159 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too.
This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your Sirius XM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on Sirius XM Channel 89. Or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. Sirius XM Sports. We're more than just a game.
Feel the thrill of the Premier League on Sirius XM FC.
Arsenal running riot. A quick fire double from Chelsea.
Hear every pulse-pounding moment.
Haaland scores the hat-trick. Brilliant left-foot strike by Salah. What a goal by Marcus Rashford.
From the world's most exciting league.
Absolutely glorious from Tottenham Hotspur.
Manchester United turn it round.
All on your radio home for the beautiful game.
If you like soccer, you are in the right place.
The Premier League lives on Sirius XM FC 157 and the all-new Sirius XM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the third, scoreless game, Blue Jays and Mets. A beautiful night in downtown Toronto, and the pitch going to George Springer is hit on the ground to third base. 2 hops and into the glove of Mark Vientos. Strong overhand throw to first base, and there's one down. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. When it comes to home improvements, Timbermart has the expert advice and the right products at the right price, so you won't find yourself out in left field on your next DIY project. Game on, home team. Timbermart is Canada's building center. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue on hand. Tom Young and Andrew Adams are technical directors today. Show Ali, our host and producer. A little bit of a delay here as Francisco Alvarez, the rookie catcher, is having an equipment malfunction, but it appears that he's good to go. And Dalton Varsho will step up with 1 out and nobody on in a scoreless game, bottom of the third. Third baseman Vientos playing in, watching a possible bunt from Varsho. The wind now from McGill and the pitch. Outside, ball 1.
Ironically, Jose Iglesias, the second baseman, is playing way back. We've seen Dalton Varsho take that bunt with him a couple of times this season.
Yeah, he actually prefers to drag it rather than bunt to third. 1-0. Swing and a high fly ball deep center field. Bader racing back at the track, makes the catch. And there are 2 down. Varsho got a lot of that, but Bader with great speed ran it down.
Yeah, I thought there was a chance that ball would get out of here. That was a cutter down and in, and Dalton Varsho did a good job just golfing that thing to center field. But Harrison Bader, such a good defender out there, just tracks it down pretty easily.
Bader, a one-time Gold Glover with the St. Louis Cardinals, who he started his career with. That catch means the bases are still empty and now 2 outs for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who walked in the first.
You think they're going to bust him in with fastballs again?
I would imagine so. Long look in from McGill, and Alvarez steps out from behind the plate, maybe just in the nick of time. The clock was at 1, if not 0. I think you could have argued a pitch clock violation if you're John Schneider, but Alvarez now talking to McGill.
Yeah, immediately he stepped off and put his palms to the air, telling me that he couldn't really understand what was going on, and Alvarez ran out there to have a conversation with him. But if there was some technical difficulties, you would think that somebody would come out and give him a new one, but
maybe those two just not been on the same page.
Yeah, maybe.
You only have 30 seconds to go through 8 different pitches that you're trying to call if you're Alvarez. McGill now has the pitch he wants and delivers to Guerrero. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. They went up and in with a four-seamer at 97. Vlad batting .324 coming into this game. 12 points off the pace of Bobby Witt Jr. starting tonight. 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike. Two taps of the plate from Guerrero. Slightly open stance, looking out at McGill. 1-1. Down and in, ball 2.
Boy, they are not messing around, huh? 2 fastballs on the inside part, off the plate. Obviously, that's their scouting report.
2-1. Swing and a miss. Well-located sinker right on the bottom and inner corner of the zone, 2-2. Well, I think they showed in the last at-bat they're comfortable walking Guerrero if they have to. Didn't really throw him pitches that close to the zone after they got 2 strikes on him. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Splitter on the outside edge, gets the whiff from Vlad for McGill. It's his 3rd strikeout of the start and another scoreless inning. He's retired the last 7 in a row. We go to the 4th, still scoreless at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Embrace the power.
That is bold.
And speed of the NTT IndyCar Series on SiriusXM.
Joseph Newgarden wins the Indy 500.
It's the season finale this weekend in Nashville, Sunday afternoon at 3 Eastern at the Music City Grand Prix.
That was sweet.
Nice job, guys. From the green to the checkers.
Flies under the twin checkers.
Hear every thrilling lap live on IndyCar Nation Channel 218.
Alex Palou. Thank you so much.
And on the all-new SiriusXM app.
Can you believe it? You are the man.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
SiriusXM has everything a college football fan needs.
He's in trouble and down he goes. The ball comes out.
All the big games are on the SiriusXM app.
Down the sidelines midfield, it's a race. Picking them up, putting them down.
Plus, hear daily in-depth analysis on College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
There's not a lot of holes or weaknesses on that football team, and they've got the goods where you want to have the goods for a championship caliber roster.
Our experts get you ready for game day every day on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app.
Fantasy football players, from start-sit decisions to waiver wire advice. Win your fantasy football league with Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and on the SiriusXM app. Radio Network.
The 4th inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet live in-game on game props, totals, and the money line. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19-plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Still Luis Frias for the Blue Jays. He starts Mark Vientos with a cutter to get ahead 0-1. Now his 0-1 offering misses outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. I'm Ben Schulman. To my left is Chris LaRue. Blue Jays and Mets scoreless in a pitcher's duel so far. 1-1. Swing and a grounder that hops off the front fence of the third base dugout. 1-2. Two hitless innings from Ryan Burr to start this one. Frias went 1-2-3 in the 3rd. Righty winds and delivers. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gets him to chase the cutter away, and that's the 2nd strikeout in 4 batters for Luis Frias.
Well, I'll tell you what, he looks like a completely different guy. He fell behind a lot of batters in his first outing against the Braves, and today he got ahead, and then look at this. 4 straight batters out.
John Schneider now walking out to the mound, claps his hands, and takes the ball, giving Frias a pat on the back. Ryan Yarbrough has been getting loose for about an inning, and the Blue Jays bulkman is getting prepared to come into this ball game. No score, 1 out, bases empty, top of the 4th. Let's go back to baseball control. Here's today's host, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. And before we check the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, don't forget we do have Jays Talk this evening. Blair and Barker are standing by. They will take your calls. Jeff will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. All right, let's check the out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Devilishly good since Toronto first raised the trophy in 1992. Join them for wings, ribs, beer, cocktails, and catch every play at your local St. Louis Bar and Grill. Download the app or visit stlouiswings.com for more details. Always devilishly good. NFL news ahead of tonight's Monday Night Football. Star 49ers running back Christian McCaffrey was ruled inactive for San Francisco. Kickoff goes in about 20 minutes against the New York Jets. He had been dealing with a calf/Achilles injury all offseason, so he is not suiting up tonight. So make your bets or adjust your fantasy teams accordingly. Some more injury news. Rams sophomore receiver Puka Nacua is being put on injured reserve following a sprained PCL suffered last night against the Lions, a re-aggravation of an existing injury suffered in training camp. He'll be out for at least 4 weeks, though Sean McVay saying the injury will not require surgery. In Chicago, rookie wideout Rome Odun's suffering a sprained MCL. He is week to week. Same goes for Browns tight end David Njoku. He's week to week with an ankle injury. Cowboys tight end Jake Ferguson also suffering a sprained MCL and a bone bruise over the weekend. He too is week to week, and really, aren't we all? Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the Rogers Center with the action with the call. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. Ryan Yarbrough getting in his final warm-up pitches as he gets set to take over with 1 out in the top of the 4th inning. Blue Jays and Mets are scoreless right now, and Yarbrough is about to make his 40th appearance of the season, 8th as a Blue Jay. 3.44 ERA in just under 84 innings pitched this year, a 2.20 ERA with the Blue Jays in 7 previous appearances. Left-hander comes in when the lone left-handed batter for the Mets is up, Brandon Nimmo. A breath in the pitch. Fastball at 86, strike 1.
I love watching him pitch. Just clinical with his fastball, with his breaking stuff.
Veteran lefty kicks and delivers. And fits another fastball right down the middle at 87 for strike 2.
Once in a while, he'll gas it up to 88, maybe 89, but usually sits 85, 86 miles an hour.
0-2. Inside, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Main pitch for Yarbrough is the curveball. Throws it over a quarter of the time. That's a 71-mile-per-hour pitch. 3 fastballs, 4-seamer, sinker, cutter, and also throws a changeup, although only to righties. Left on left is 1-2. Misses upstairs with a heater at 89.
I bet he throws that changeup tonight.
I would guess so, too. He's going to face 6 right-handed hitters in a row after Nimmo, and then Francisco Lindor, the switch hitter at the top of the order. 2-2. Swing and a ground ball hit weakly to second. Picked up by Will Wagner. The throw to first in time. 2 outs in the inning. Yarbrough should be pretty fresh. Last time he pitched for the Blue Jays was 8 days ago when he threw 2 1/3 scoreless at Minnesota. And he only threw 26 pitches to get through 2 1/3 that day. So this is about as much rest as he's had since coming over to the Blue Jays. 2 outs, Pete Alonso up. And the pitch. Outside, ball 1.
I almost think that he would pitch better if he was tired.
Because he's just so rubber-armed?
He doesn't need the fastball, right? And you don't really locate better when you're fresh.
1-0. Outside, 2-0.
Actually,
he does need the fastball. He just doesn't throw it 95.
When you're overly fresh, you tend to locate worse because you're trying harder and you know that you have that little extra giddy up.
2-0 pitch. Called strike 2-1. Although Yarbrough, well, I haven't confirmed this with him, doesn't strike me as a guy who says, my arm's feeling great today, I'm going to go out there and throw darts. I think he's throwing the same speed all the time. His 2-1. Misses up and away to Alonso, 3 balls and 1 strike. Longtime Tampa Bay Ray, brief stints with the Royals, Dodgers, and Blue Jays. Yarbrough with a breath and the 3-1. Swing and a foul ball hit deep to the right into the seats, 3-2.
How about a changeup here? 3-2 changeup. I don't think you'll do it, but that would be a really good pitch. Pete Alonso would be well out in front of that pitch.
2 outs, base is empty, and the payoff from Yarbrough. Swing and a high fly ball, again foul to the right. Still 3-2. He went back to the fastball.
And Pete Alonso got eaten up by that 88-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. You could tell he was thinking probably curveball there, curveball in the back of his mind. And Yarbrough threw that fastball and almost got him.
Another 3-2 offering. Checked his swing, and the pitch was just high. Ball 4. Not a bad pitch, but an even better take from Alonso.
Yeah, really good take from Pete Alonso. 88 at the top of the strike zone, just above the strike zone. Pete Alonso swings through a lot of those upper elevated fastballs. Actually, Ryan Yarbrough is heated about something. I don't think that was a strike, but
no, it looked a little bit high.
Wonder what he's heated about.
2 down, runner on first. Jose Iglesias is up, and the pitch inside with the curveball, ball 1. Perhaps Yarbrough just upset with giving up a walk. A guy who's so pinpoint with his command fell behind 3-1 to Alonso before issuing that base on balls. 1-0. Called strike.
Could he have been upset about the swing call? Did he think that Pete Alonso actually offered at that?
I don't think so.
I don't think
it
so
wasn't
either.
very close. Working now against Jose Iglesias, who flied out to center field in the second. 1-1. Outside, 2-1. Iglesias has been a revelation for this Mets team. Joined them on a minor league deal in the offseason after not playing in the majors at all last year. And in 66 games, hitting well over 300. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a foul off the end of the bat. 2-2. Iglesias spent last year split between the Marlins and Padres system, all at AAA. 2-2. And it nailed him on the back. Some frustration from Yarbrough as that curveball got away from him, and these rare slips of command from the lefty today, who's usually putting the ball exactly where he wants it.
Yeah, that was just a 71-mile-an-hour curveball that really wasn't located well. He's thrown a couple of curveballs tonight that weren't located well at all. That one, another one, hits Iglesias right in the thigh. Even though it's 71, it probably still didn't feel very good.
And it really doesn't feel good for Yarbrough, who's pitching now with 2 on and 2 out. JD Martinez is up. Lefty's pitch. Outside, ball 1. These two were teammates last year on the Dodgers. Martinez batting .251 after his strikeout in the second. 16 home runs, nearly 70 RBIs. 1-0. Swing and a high fly ball hit down the right field line, slicing foul and out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike is the count, and both base runners went all the way around the bases. They're going to have to retreat now. Alonso to second and Iglesias back to first.
George Springer actually ended up catching that baseball off the ricochet.
I was going to say. Unless he grew wings while I wasn't looking. But that makes a lot of sense. Off the concrete and back into the hands of Springer. Now Yarbrough has a new ball. And here's his 1-1 to Martinez. Just a little bit high of the zone. 2-1. Mets without a hit so far. 2 hit batters and a walk is all the offense that they've generated. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Ugly wave at that 70-mile-per-hour curve, and that's vintage Yarbrough right there. 2-2.
Yeah, that's the best one he's thrown all night. Started off the plate outside and ended up inside, and JD Martinez was well out in front of it.
Martinez taps the plate, points the barrel out towards Yarbrough. And now with 2 outs, the 2-2. Bounce the curveball down and in, ball 3. Alonso and Iglesias will both be off on the pitch. Full count, 2 outs. Runners on first and second, top of the 4th. Yarbrough came in, made quick work of Nimmo with a ground out, but has walked and hit the last 2 batters. And the lefty's going to step off the mound before delivering the 3-2 to JD Martinez. .22 pitches already for Yarbrough, who's usually very efficient. His 3-2. Swing and a ground ball through the hole right side into right field, a base hit. Alonso getting the wave around third. The throw from Springer bounces in late. And that's an RBI single for JD Martinez and a 1-0 Met lead.
And that was just a good piece of hitting from JD Martinez. Will Wagner was shaded towards second. Spencer Horwitz was close to the bag at first base, and he just shot it through that hole on the right side for an RBI and a Mets lead.
Iglesias ran all the way from first to third on that single, so runners on the corners now. 69th RBI on the season for J.D. Martinez, and the Mets' first hit of the game plates the game's first run. 1-0 for New York, runners on the corners, and Starling Marte up to the plate. Yarbrough set, looking at first base, the pitch. Called strike, fits the cutter in on the outside corner, 0-1. Marte, a strikeout victim in the second. Ryan Burr got him on a slider. 0-1. Swing and a broken back grounder to second. Wagner on the run, picks it up, slings to first, and ends the inning. The Mets, though, all with 2 outs, put 3 aboard, including the RBI single by J.D. Martinez. That makes it 1-0 for New York, middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
At Bet365, we don't do ordinary. That's why we introduced in-game betting. Because when the game starts, the action doesn't stop. With in-game betting, you can wager on game props, player props, totals, and the money line. And remember, in-game, you can track your same-day parlay with the option to cash out. Check out in-game betting and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
Must be 19 years or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball hit to center field. Varsho with a dive, and he makes the catch.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Ben Shulman and Chris LaRue at Rogers Center. Mets leading the Blue Jays 1-0. First pitch at the bottom of the 4th misses inside to Spencer Horwitz and rolls into the backstop. 1-0. Mets just came up with their first hit of the game, a J.D. Martinez RBI single in the top of the 4th. Blue Jays only have 1 hit as they start in the bottom of the 4th. 1-0 to Horwitz. Called strike. That 1 hit does belong to Spencer Horwitz, who doubled in the first inning with Guerrero on first. Ultimately got stranded as the Blue Jays left the bases loaded that inning. 1-1. Swing and a miss. Behind 96 from McGill, it's 1-2.
Oh boy, how good was that pitch? Down and away, just dotted at the bottom corner of that strike zone, 96. McGill really has flashes of brilliance, and then all of a sudden, he'll just lose it.
First inning was a tough one for the righty, but he's retired 7 in a row now. 1-2. Check swing. And peel down to third. He did go around, says Brian Walsh, on a pitch that was outside. So Horwitz strikes out, and McGill now has 4 Ks in 3 1/3.
Wasn't a very well located split finger, but it had a ton of movement. It looked like a strike and then broke well off the plate. Spencer Horwitz couldn't hold up.
Horwitz down, Will Wagner up to the plate. He walked on 4 pitches in the first. 6'7" right-hander McGill starts the wind and the offering in the dirt, ball 1. Another start for Will Wagner at second base. 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss, 1-1. A position that's interesting going into the future for the Blue Jays, even the immediate future, with Bo Bichette's rehab set to start tomorrow. The 1-1. Check swing. Pitch was high. 2-1.
Are you pretty comfortable with him over there?
Defensively?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, offensively, of course.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But there's just a lot of options at that spot.
There are.
This year and next year. 2-1. Fouled off the catcher, 2-2.
Yeah, and I didn't mean for the next 5 years. I just meant for, for tonight.
Yeah. No, he's been good. But I think you look at the Blue Jays right now. I talked to Spencer Horwitz today about him playing some second yesterday after going almost a month without it. He said he did feel a little bit awkward out there. But the Blue Jays have Wagner, they have Jimenez, Clement, a little bit of Horwitz, a little bit of Schneider. 2-2. Bounce to the plate, 3-2. And then you have some other guys looming, like Aurelvis Martinez returned to affiliated baseball yesterday. Not saying that he's going to play in the majors this year, but the future of that position is crowded right now. And it could also include free agents, for all we know. 3-2 pitch to Wagner. Called, strike 3, 97 on the outside corner. Perfect pitch from McGill, who's locked in right now. 2 down.
Yeah, he's thrown a couple of really impressive pitches over the last 5 or 6 pitches. 97 down and away, just dotting that thing. So much downward action, 6'7". It's a pretty solid pitch right there.
2 outs, bases empty, Alejandro Kirkup. And the first pitch is called strike 1.
But a lot of people always ask me, what do you think of Will Wagner? What do you think of Spencer Horwitz? What do you think of Ernie Clement? Do you think they're going to be on the roster next year? And my answer is always, it depends on what Ross Atkins does in the offseason.
0-1. Swing and a ground ball hit to third. Picked up underhanded by Vientos. Skips and throws over to first to get Kirk and end the inning. How about 10 straight retired by Tyler McGill? He and the Mets leading 1-0 after 4. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
Christian McCaffrey, a surprise inactive for the 49ers tonight in the NFL Week 1 finale as the defending NFC champs host Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. Play-by-play coverage airing now, followed by full post-game analysis and discussion on your 24/7 home for football. Sirius XM NFL Radio, Channel 88, and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports, wherever you are. Your team plays here.
Sirius XM has everything a college football fan needs.
He's in trouble and down he goes. The ball comes out.
All the big games are on the Sirius XM app.
Down the sidelines midfield. It's a race. Picking them up, putting them down.
Plus, hear daily in-depth analysis on College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
There's not a lot of holes or weaknesses on that football team, and they've got the goods where you want to have the goods for a championship caliber roster.
Our experts get you ready for game day every day on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
If you want to win your fantasy football league, you need to listen to Fantasy Sports Radio. From lineup decisions to daily fantasy to waiver wire advice, injury updates, and so much more.
You cannot afford to drop a running back.
Our experts will help you dominate.
I think there's value there on Austin Eckler in PPR formats.
Set your lineup with Fantasy Sports Radio. Your home for fantasy football all season long. Channel 87 and on the all-new Sirius XM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Fifth inning in downtown Toronto. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue, Show Ali, our host and producer tonight, Andrew Adams, and Tom Young, our technical directors. Blue Jays trailing the New York Mets 1-0. Ryan Yarbrough back out for the fifth after getting 2 outs but giving up a run in the fourth. He'll start with Harrison Bader, the number 8 hitter in the Mets order. And the pitch. Swing and a fly ball hit out to center field. Dalton Varsho jogs to his left toward right center and makes the catch. 1 out.
Outside of the top of the fourth for Ryan Yarbrough, this has been a really well-pitched game on both sides.
Blue Jays had Ryan Burr open. He went 2 scoreless innings, gave up 1 base runner. Luis Frias pitched a perfect inning in a third with 2 strikeouts. Then Yarbrough gave up a walk, a hit batter, and a single to let 1 run come in. The pitch to Francisco Alvarez. Down and in, ball one.
Good for Luis Frias, who gave up 5 hits, 4 earned runs in just a third of an inning in his Blue Jays debut.
Gets a clean inning and a third today. Left on right, the pitch to Alvarez. In the zone to even up the count at 1-1. Speaking of making good impressions, that's what Alvarez did last year when he slugged 25 home runs as a rookie catcher for the Mets. 1-1. Outside 2-1. This year, though, has not gone as well for the young catcher. 231 average, 12 doubles, 6 homers in just under 90 games. Year did start with an injury early on, and just some inconsistent at-bats ever since. Two-one pitch. Outside, ball 3.
He was a big home run guy in the minors as well. In 2022, he had 27 homers. In 2021, he had 24 homers. Also a lot of strikeouts, though.
3-1 pitch. Inside, ball 4. Thought it was interesting. New Jersey Advanced Media recently asked Carlos Beltran about Francisco Alvarez. Beltran, of course, with the Mets in his career and now a special assistant to the Mets in their front office. And he said, quote, honestly, he's a young kid. He's 22 years old, trying to find a routine. Last year he had a good year, but this year has been difficult in terms of consistency. And it's not for a lack of energy or effort, but Beltran said it took him 4 years to find consistency in the majors as Francisco Lindor comes up and takes strike 1.
And this might be obvious, but I think a lot of people forget about it. Other teams have a better scouting report on him now. They know exactly how to pitch him.
Alvarez on first, 1 out. 1-0 Mets, top of the 5th. And the 0-1 to Lindor. Swing and a miss. Wild hack, 0-2.
So until Alvarez changes the way he approaches their scouting report, he'll continue to struggle.
Alvarez held on by Horwitz. Lindor at the plate, batting from the right side now. 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A bit of a chuckle from Lindor, who had ugly waves at back-to-back curveballs. He strikes out for the second out of the 5th.
Yeah, it almost looked like Lindor was smiling as he was swinging way out in front of that slow breaking ball. Yeah, not quite. Maybe as soon as that ball hit Kirk's glove, he started smiling, almost in disbelief.
Second time Lindor has struck out today. He's 0 for 3, and now the pitch to Mark Vientos, called strike 0-1. So Francisco Alvarez hasn't had the same season as his rookie sensation year. The new rookie sensation for the Mets is Mark Vientos, who's having a really good year. 24 homers, 0-1. Called strike at the knees, 0-2. Also hitting .284 in 93 games. Vientos was up for 65 games last year, but has played a much bigger role this year. And is hitting number 2 in the Mets order. Runner on first, 2 down. Yarbrough's 0-2 pitch. Runner takes off from first. Alvarez. Pitch in the dirt. Throw down to second. And they got him. Kirk bounced it in, but a nice pick from Will Wagner, and he applies the tag to end the inning. Another runner caught stealing by Alejandro Kirk. No runs, no hits, nobody left for the Mets. Still 1-0 for New York, middle of the 5th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
Go bowling at the Glen from Watkins Glen International.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Yeah. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
If you love golf, then you should never turn off PGA Tour Radio. Hear from the biggest names in the sport.
Champion golfer of the year is Xander Schauffele.
I think best round of golf ever in my life.
Listen to special shows from people who love the game, like rock and roll legend Alice Cooper.
There's a putt, must be 90 feet long, and you make that putt.
And get help with your own game.
You'll get through your iron shots and have predictable distance.
It's all golf, all the time, on PGA Tour Radio, Channel 92 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM.
Let's go,
We're back on the track Sunday,
2 p.m. Eastern.
Go bowling at the Glen
from Watkins Glen International.
Checker flag, baby. Yeah.
On SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 in the car and on the all-new SiriusXM app. Get closer to everything that moves you wherever you are with the SiriusXM app.
Let's make some smoke and drink some beer. Yeah.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
Radio Network.
Bottom of the fifth inning in downtown Toronto, the Blue Jays down by 1 to the New York Mets. A great start for Tyler McGill, called upon this morning to take the slot of Paul Blackburn, and he's retired 10 in a row, hasn't given up a base runner since the first inning, and right now is shutting out the Blue Jays to the tune of only one hit. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Thanks for joining us tonight. Addison Barger is going to try and change that trend. He leads it off for Toronto in the bottom of the fifth. Again, 1-0 for the Mets. 6'7" right-hander McGill gets into the wind and deals to the lefty swinger Barger. First pitch strike, 0-1.
Well, as we talked about in the first inning when McGill was struggling, he's got very good stuff. He's got a big fastball, upper 90s, good tilt to it, 6'7". So if he's locating, it's almost unhittable.
0-1. Down and in.
Which he has done over the last 3 innings or so.
2 walks in the first inning and threw a ton of pitches then, but has been very efficient since. 61 pitches now with no outs in the bottom of the fifth. His 1-1. Barger checks his swing. It's a called strike, 97 on the outside corner, 1-2.
He's doing a good job locating down and away to left-handed hitters. That's the money pitch for him right now.
Seeing a fair amount of lefties in this lineup, 5 of them. Only Joey Loperfido has the day off. The 1-2. Check swing, pitch in the dirt, appeal down to third. He didn't go. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Leo Jimenez and Nathan Lucas hit for the Blue Jays after Barger in this inning. Two on the way. Called strike 3, 98 at the knees. Barger walks back to the dugout, 1 down.
That is really hard to hit. This injury report is brought to you by Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count. Call Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. You focus on getting better, and Bergmanis Pereira will take care of the rest. Visit bplawyers.ca.
Main news today concerning Bo Bichette, if you weren't with us off the top of the broadcast. First, though, the pitch to Blue Jays shortstop Leo Jimenez. Inside, ball 1. John Schneider confirming that Bichette stayed back with now the Buffalo Bisons in Atlanta. Buffalo playing in Gwinnett against the Braves AAA affiliate starting tomorrow. 1-0. Called strike 1-1. Plan is for Bo to play 3 to 5 innings tomorrow. Seems like he'll DH tomorrow's game and DH a few times, play short a couple times, and then rejoin the Blue Jays. 1-1. Inside, 2-1. But a couple other things he said Bo was feeling really good at this point and has been for a while and is just chomping at the bit to start playing. Here's the 2-1 to Jimenez. Swing and a foul back, 2-2.
I mean, he's been out for a long time, July 19th.
Yeah, I think that they were really careful. I know that there are concerns about rushing him back. I think they've done the exact opposite. They've really slow played this rehab because pretty much since he's gone down, they've been out of the race. 2-2. Swing and a foul back into the screen. And so likely, John Schneider said, Bichette rejoins the team when they go to Texas. That'll be a week tomorrow. They start their series in Texas on the 17th. But if everything did go well, he said he wouldn't rule out Bo returning for the weekend series. 2-2. And it hit him. Unbelievable for Leo Jimenez. He's been hit by a ton of pitches, or no, they're saying it hit the knob of his bat. So in some ways, lucky, in some ways, unlucky. But guys do keep getting up in the grill of Leo Jimenez, who's been hit by a number of pitches over the last couple weeks.
Oh, yeah, that could have been a big issue, too. That just missed his hand and hit the knob. I bet that would have hurt quite a bit. Could have been dangerous if it got him on the hand there.
Another 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Jimenez goes down on a slider. 7th strikeout of the game for McGill, and now 2 outs.
That slider was gross. Looked like a fastball right down the middle. And then not quite 12-6, but that thing dropped off the table. Leo was way out in front of it. It's tough to hit that pitch when you're expecting 97, 98 miles an hour with movement.
Tough to hit any of McGill's pitches today. He has been dominant. Retired 12 in a row now. His pitch to Nathan Lucas. Low ball 1. For Nathan Lucas, this is his 6th start of the season and 7th game overall. That's now matched his 6 starts from all of last year. 1-0. Swing and a miss. And Lucas is 10 for 22 to start his 2024 season, a .455 average. Right on left pitch. Grounded foul, 1-2. Talked to Lucas a bit today. He was happy for the opportunities to be there now after playing so sparingly last season. 1-2. Down and away, 2-2. He said, last year he understood it, and it's all part of the business. You got to play well to play, and the more you hit, the more you're going to be in the lineup. But it's nice to be able to show his skills this year. 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 97 blown by him, and McGill just struck out the side to get that K total up to 8 in 5 scoreless innings of 1 hit ball. 1-0 Mets go into the 6th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You can bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays, and with all kinds of cool new games and activities in the exciting outfield district areas, there's no end to the family fun you'll have.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We have a plan that's connecting Ontario. We're leading the largest transit expansion in North America. New projects like the Ontario Line subway and Hazel McCallion Light Rail will relieve overcrowding, with the Scarborough and Yonge North subways connecting more communities, and expanding GO Transit with more trips, faster train service, and two-way all-day service. All so you can get around faster, safer, easier. See what we're building in your community at ontario.ca/builds. Paid for by the Government of Ontario.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
They got him. A strike him out, throw him out, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Top of the 6th, Blue Jays down 1-0 to the New York Mets. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Ryan Yarbrough's pitch to Mark Vientos hit foul, 0-1. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pitcher's duel so far, only one hit for both sides. Yarbrough set, his 0-1 to Vientos. Inside.
The Blue Jays have kind of pieced together this ball game with bullpen arms, but the Mets have gone with Tyler McGill, and he has been outstanding with a big fastball, locating it really well.
1-1. Swing and a pop-up behind the plate in foul territory. Kirk ditches the mask and makes a one-handed catch. 1 out. Let's go to the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. The matchup of the top 2 guys in the American League MVP race is going on right now as the Yankees and Aaron Judge host the Royals and Bobby Witt Jr., both with hits so far on the day, and it's a tie ball game right now, 3-3 in the 5th inning between the Royals and Yankees. 1 out, Brandon Nimmo to the plate. Second time through the order now for Yarbrough, the pitch. Outside, ball 1.
It's got to be a fun series to watch.
Absolutely. Yankees are trying to keep a hold of the division lead, half a game up on the Orioles, and the Royals trying to make sure that they're still in that wild card positioning, holding the 2nd spot right now. 1-0. Swing and a grounder foul, 1-1. Stealing all the headlines, though, is Salvador Perez in that game. He's got 3 hits and 3 RBIs. 1-1. Check swing, called strike, and Yarbrough is ahead of Nimmo, 1-2.
Do people forget about Salvador Perez and how just incredible of a baseball player he is?
I think sometimes.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but sometimes. All of our out-of-town scores, again, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Gets Nimmo way out in front on the curveball, and that's his 2nd strikeout of the appearance for the lefty Ryan Yarbrough.
Yeah, as soon as he swung at that pitch, he looked back to Stu Sherwater and asked him if that was a strike in the zone, and it definitely was. That was a good curveball from Ryan Yarbrough.
2 quick outs for Yarbrough, 40 pitches now in 2 2/3 innings, or rather 2 1/3. His pitch to Pete Alonso. Called strike on the inside edge.
How about coming inside to a power hitter like Pete Alonso with 84?
It takes a lot of confidence. The 0-1. Outside. This was the part of the order where Yarbrough got into trouble in the 4th inning. He walked Alonso, hit Iglesias with a pitch, and then went 3-2 at J.D. Martinez, who singled through the right side to score a run. That's why it's 1-0 Mets. 2 outs, top of the 6th. 1-1. Misses downstairs. 2 balls and 1 strike. Alonso's had a 50-homer season before his rookie campaign. Won a couple home run derbies as well. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a high fly ball. Deep down the right field line, foul, and that'll get into the seats, 2-2.
You think Pete Alonso feels comfortable here at the Rogers Center?
Why do you ask?
You know why I ask.
I know. Pending free agent Pete Alonso, and there hasn't been a lot on him and the Mets talking about an extension recently. Two. Ball 3, and that is a tough one from Stu Sherwater, the Canadian home plate umpire. That was a fastball clearly over the plate at the top of the zone, right down the middle, and instead it's called ball 3, and now Alonso, instead of a strikeout, is still up there. Full count offering. Swing and a grounder foul.
Well, as soon as that ball was called a ball, or that pitch was called a ball, John Schneider started barking at Sherwater. Ryan Yarbrough actually took 3 or 4 slow steps off the mound towards the Blue Jays dugout, thought it was strike 3, and I tend to agree with him.
Tough to have to get Alonso out twice in one at-bat. He tries to here. The 3-2. Swing and a flare to shallow right. Racing out there is the second baseman, Wagner, who brings it in to end the inning. 1-2-3 again for Ryan Yarbrough, and it's still 1-0 for the Mets, middle of the sixth. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Innovator, icon, GOAT. What up, it's your man LL Cool J. Take a ride through stories and sounds direct from one of the game's all-time greats on a new limited engagement channel. Featuring songs from my classic and timeless albums. Don't call it a comeback. To my new star-studded joint.
Is you cool with that, daddy?
And exclusive LL mixes by some of hip-hop's best DJs, you know what I mean? LL Cool J's The Force Channel. I'm the player that you're talking about. On now, Channel 79, and at home on the SiriusXM app.
Are you regretting eating that gas station hot dog? Yeah, we know. We've been there too. This is a message for baseball fans like you. Did you know that you get a channel that's talking baseball 24/7 as part of your SiriusXM subscription?
What?
Our lineup includes shows hosted by former big leaguers and executives. Plus, you'll hear from 17 managers each week. MLB Network Radio is on SiriusXM Channel 89. Or just search MLB Network Radio on the SXM app. SiriusXM Sports. We're more than just a game.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only channel on the radio dedicated to baseball 24/7. It's MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89. News, opinions, passionate baseball talk from former players and GMs, plus interviews with players, managers, and executives, original specials, and much, much, much more. All baseball, every day, on your radio. If you can hear me right now, you've got MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Hey everyone, it's Justin Turbin at your 24/7 home for hoops all year long. Is SiriusXM NBA Radio Channel 86 and the SiriusXM app. Just search NBA Radio.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Home half of the sixth inning at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays trailing the Mets 1-0. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Top of the Blue Jay order, the pitch to George Springer. Swing and a hot shot to short, picked up on a bounce by Lindor. He sets and throws to first. 1 out. Top third of the order hitting for the Blue Jays in this sixth inning. A top third that very well soon could include Bo Bichette again, who's starting his rehab tomorrow with the Buffalo Bisons. Here's Dalton Varsho, who's been filling in the number 2 spot for most of the time since the trade deadline. Tyler McGill with a breath, the wind, and the pitch. Fastball, strike one. Speaking of Bo Bichette, let's kind of go on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. This is news, and it did come from Atlanta, so I'm going to count it. First, the 0-1 to Varsho. Outside, ball one. Sportsnet's Shi Davidi releasing an article today with some pretty big statements made by Bo Bichette and his future around the organization. 1-1. Called strike 1 and 2. You may have seen some of the reports over the last couple months that alluded to the fact that Bichette might not want to be in Toronto long term. He said things quite to the contrary to Shi Davidi. 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Varsho goes down. And just to make sure, if you haven't seen it, the quote that really went viral is, when I had time to think about what I want, this is from Bichette, basically my ultimate goal really is to play with Vladdy forever, to win a championship with him, and to do that with this organization. I'm 100% committed to doing whatever it takes to accomplish those things. That's where I'm at, end quote. Here is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with 2 outs and the bases empty.
Brings a tear to your eye, doesn't it?
It's a nice sentiment. The pitch to Guerrero. Called strike 0-1.
Well, it's nice to hear that he actually wants to be here. That makes me feel good as a Blue Jays fan, as a Blue Jays broadcaster. He's a great player to watch when he's good.
Oh, 1 to Guerrero. Outside. Bit of a cross-up as that one went right off the catcher, Francisco Alvarez. It's 1 ball, 1 strike.
McGill was pointing to his hat. Obviously, he didn't quite get the call on the pitch con, but Alvarez kind of had his palm up to the sky like, what are you doing? Those are scary for catchers. Good thing it wasn't a fastball.
I mean, if you don't know what the pitch is, you can ask for the catcher to come out to the mound. They have mound visits remaining. 1-1. Inside 2-1. But to go back to, Bichette talking about playing with Guerrero, playing in Toronto, John Schneider said that a lot of minor leaguers, when they're younger, have those conversations. We're going to go up to the bigs together. We're going to win. 2-1 to Vlad. Swinging a foul back 2-2. But that it was maybe a little bit different when those two guys were doing it because they were such highly touted prospects that it was frankly a lot more realistic than a lot of the other times that minor leaguers do that, and that they've just been really good friends for a really long time growing up together. 2-2. Swing and a ground ball foul. Vlad hits it off of his front leg. Did that in the first inning, and he does it here again in the sixth.
Yeah, those big pads help, though. I feel like his protection on his shin and the top of his foot is a little bit bigger than any other player. Actually, that got him on the bare toe where it's not protected, about an inch. That there's no protection on his toe, and he got him right on the toe. That's tough.
I mean, I would get if he was wearing bigger protection. He's the guy who leads Major League Baseball in hard hit balls. If he's going to hit it hard at himself, he's got to be prepared. And he's walking a little bit gingerly as he gets back into the box to face another 2-2. 2 outs, bases empty, 1-0 Mets. Bottom of the sixth, the pitch. Bounce to the plate, 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Well, I hate to break it to you, Ben, but I don't think that protection can get any bigger.
No. But I'm saying if it's bigger than other guys.
Maybe if he puts on some football pads.
Probably not the case, but we will go to Monday Night Football a little bit later on the St. Louis Bar and Grill Out of Town scoreboard.
Great segue.
There you go, 3-2. Swinging a high chopper to short, 2 bounces and into the glove of Lindor, whips it over to first, and that's the end of the 6th inning. Tyler McGill has not allowed a base runner since the first, and that's why the Mets are still up 1-0, 2/3 of the way through this game. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think 2 men and a truck, since you know they have lots of men and lots of trucks. They'll wrap, pack, and move everything you own. With a 96% referral rating and the professionalism you can trust, the choice is simple. For a free in-home estimate, call today. We're 2 men and a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
So, you want to be a Looney Dogger, eh? Every Tuesday Blue Jays home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Grab $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around Rogers Center. Plus, stop by the Schneider's Porch, your hot dog headquarters. The destination for a one-of-a-kind hot dog experience with excellent ballpark views. So, whether you're the relish ringleader or 7th inning snacker, no Blue Jays game is complete without hot dogs. Don't miss out on this delicious deal. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fastball cracked to center field, to the wall, to the track. It's gone.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermark broadcast booth. Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue at Rogers Center. Blue Jays trailing the Mets 1-0, top of the 7th. First pitch from Ryan Yarbrough, called strike against Jose Iglesias, 0-1. Yarbrough came on in the 4th inning, got 2 outs that inning, and then all 3 outs in the 5th and 6th. Here's 0-1. Foul back, 0-2.
Well, we talked about Tyler McGill hitting another gear and pitching really, really well after struggling initially. Ryan Yarbrough's hit another gear as well. He struggled in the top of the 4th, but has pitched really well since.
1 hit and 1 run allowed in 2 2/3 for Yarbrough. Is 0-2. Swing and a soft liner, sliced foul. 0-2. Yarbrough's next pitch will be his 55th of the game. John Schneider had said he could do something like 60 to 70 pitches, so expect some action in the pen soon. Another 0-2. And it hit him. Just caught the hand of Iglesias. He hit Iglesias in the 4th inning, and he does it again here to start the 7th.
Well, John Schneider's not happy. Ryan Yarbrough's not happy. And I'm just thinking that the reason is because Jose Iglesias didn't move. He just let that ball hit him in the elbow. And as a pitcher, you think to yourself, he could have got out of the way. As a manager, you're probably thinking the same thing.
Iglesias on first now, and the pitch to J.D. Martinez, outside, ball 1.
Good job by Iglesias, though.
You can't lean in, but you don't have to move. You can stay exactly where you are and let the ball hit you if you'd like. Iglesias leading off first, and now the 1-0. Swing and a miss. Slowed it down to 70 and gets an ugly whiff there from Martinez, 1-1.
And I think the argument from the pitcher's point of view is these batters have these big elbow pads on, and they're more inclined to not move because they're not scared of getting hit in the elbow.
1-1. Down and away, 2-1. And there are guys, a lot of the same guys end up being hit by the most pitches every year, and typically is not a coincidence. Iglesias isn't one of those guys. He doesn't get hit all that often, but there are guys who don't move out of the way, and they'll take it right to their on-base percentage. 2-1. Swing and a high fly ball. Right field, jogging toward the foul line. George Springer stops and makes the catch. 1 out. Let's go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Monday Night Football underway for the first time this year. The New York Jets and the San Francisco 49ers facing off at Levi's Stadium. And it's the Jets who are leading right now, 7-3 over the 49ers. Breece Hall with a 3-yard touchdown score. All of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 1-0 Mets over Blue Jays, top of the 7th with 1 out. Starling Marte up to the plate, Iglesias on first, and Yarbrough's pitch. Hit on the ground to short. Jimenez gloves it, steps on second, one throws to first, double play to end the inning. 6-3, the Blue Jays turn it, and after the leadoff hit batter, Yarbrough still faces the minimum in the top of the 7th, sending us to the stretch. 1-0 Mets is okay. Blue Jays is about to play out at Rogers Center. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Center. Visit timbermart.ca.
September 25th.
We're going in.
Chicago Wednesday returns on City TV.
Police, get back!
We all face fear.
Crazy upside down world out there.
But only heroes run towards it.
If someone is in trouble, you do whatever you gotta do to help them.
You do what it takes. You're gonna be okay. We got you now.
Chicago Med, Fire and PD. New season's premiere September 25th on City TV. Or stream it on City TV Plus.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
He rocks the ball to left field. The Blue Jays have gone back to back to back.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Mets 1, Blue Jays 0 in a pitcher's duel at Rogers Center. Spencer Horwitz will lead this inning off for the Blue Jays, but he'll go up against a new pitcher. Danny Young, the left-hander for the Mets, takes over for his 35th appearance of the season and only 46th of his major league career, having a very nice year, a 2.70 ERA. Young is southpaw, about to go left on left with Horwitz. The reliever kicks and delivers. And fits it in at the bottom of the zone. Strike one on a side-armed 91-mile-per-hour sinker.
Yeah, not overpowering stuff, but he does have a funky delivery, kind of a three-quarter arm slot, little funky leg lift.
0-1. Check swing on a slider down and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Young brings his knee up very high, and as he's doing that, bends over kind of, so he really hides the ball behind his leg. 1-1. Check swing. Again, the pitch was low. 2-1.
And that's part of it. I think people forget about deception because they care about spin rate, they care about velocity, movement, stuff like that. Deception plays a big part in how successful you are.
Ryan Yarborough's doing it on the other side. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a foul off. 2-2. Sweeper sinker is the mix for Danny Young. Low 80s with the sweeper, low 90s with the sinker, and he's using them about 50-50. A little more sweeper than sinker, but nothing that's that big of a deal. Dangling his left arm. Now he comes set above the belt. His 2-2. Sweeper outside, ball 3. Young actually originally a Blue Jays draft pick, 8th rounder in 2015 out of the University of Florida. 3-2. Swing and a ground ball left side, picked up by the third baseman Vientos, throws on the run to first and gets Horwitz 1 out. Young was going up through the minors with some of the prominent Blue Jays prospects who are either with the team now or were with the team the last couple years. He was on that 2018 AA New Hampshire team that won the Eastern League title, managed by John Schneider. Guerrero, Bichette, Espinal, and others playing for that team. And now Young's going to face a pinch hitter instead of a left-on-left matchup with Will Wagner. Blue Jays call on Davis Schneider to a big applause from the Rogers Center crowd. 1-0 Mets, 1 out, bases empty, bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays haven't had a base runner since Wagner walked in the first. The pitch. Breaking ball outside, 1-0. This does feel like a pretty good matchup for Davis Schneider.
You're forgetting about the funk.
I know, but I think the funk is what you want. 1-0. Called strike 1-1. I mean, you're either throwing hard or you're throwing with the funk. No one's going out there throwing 91 straight fastballs, nothing in their delivery.
Yeah, you're right. Chris Sale, funky and has high velocity.
He has both. 1-1. Check swing, pitch outside, 2-1. But I guess why I say this is sidearmer not going to pitch as often to the top of the zone. A lot of breaking balls, not high velocity. A couple things that at least feel like it's in Schneider's wheelhouse. 2-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Big rip at that sweeper. Stumbled out of the box after it. 2-2.
Well, we all know what he was thinking. He was thinking homer right there on that sweeper. It was actually a pretty good sweeper down below the strike zone, and Davis Schneider almost lost his footing going for that thing.
The 2-2. And the sweeper hit him. Got him in the back foot, and Davis Schneider will head down to first. Unconventional way for the Blue Jays to get their first base runner since the first inning, but they'll take it. They have a runner on with 1 out at the bottom of the 7th.
Yeah, Davis Schneider really didn't try to get out of the way of that. Just clipped him on the top of the foot, but again, it's kind of scary to let the baseball hit you in the foot. Very sensitive area.
Schneider down to first. Alejandro Kirk up to the plate. 1-0 for the Mets over the Blue Jays. Danny Young looking at first, delivers home. And missed inside with a fastball, 1-0. For Tyler McGill today, the Mets starter, 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, and 9 punch-outs. 1-0. Called strike 1-1. McGill ended up retiring 16 in a row to end his outing. But Danny Young's allowed a base runner in the first inning after McGill is out of the game. 1-1. Swinging a line drive, slicing it down in right field, a base hit. Schneider up to second. He'll stop there as Marte got it back in quickly. But the Blue Jays have now just their second hit of the game and 2 runners on with only 1 out.
Well, Alejandro Kirk has been so good recently going the other way. That was just a sinker that was up in the zone, and he just hammered it the other way. Pretty good piece of hitting right there from Alejandro Kirk.
And that's going to prompt a meeting on the mound now. The entire Met infield is on the mound. So is Francisco Alvarez. And they're looking toward the dugout. It's almost like they expect Carlos Mendoza to come out, but he hasn't. And it's just Francisco Lindor right now talking to everybody else. And now Carlos Mendoza will come out on the field. Addison Barger, a left-handed hitter, was scheduled to come up to the plate. It's going to be a pinch hitter for the Blue Jays and a pitching change for the Mets. Runners on first and second, 1 out, bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays trailing 1-0. Let's go back to baseball control. Here's today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. And before we check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, don't forget we do have Jays Talk this evening. Blair and Barker have you covered on the post-game show. They will take your calls once this game is in the books. Jeff and Kevin are down at the Rogers Center. They'll throw out the numbers for you to call once this game is over. All right, let's check the out-of-town scoreboard, brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Quick check of Monday Night Football between the San Francisco 49ers and the New York Jets. The Jets up 7-6, 2 field goals for the 49ers, while the Jets have a 3-yard touchdown run from Breece Hall. In the world of hockey, the PWHL teams, if you missed this, have all had their new names and logos announced. The 3 Canadian teams, the Toronto Scepters, the Ottawa Charge, and the Victoire de Montréal. You can find the logos on sportsnet.ca. Elsewhere in hockey, the Hockey Hall of Fame announcing the next chair of the board. It's been Lanny McDonald for the last 10 years. The Hall now saying it'll be Mike Gartner, effective in June 2025. Gartner, of course, inducted into the Hall of Fame back in 2001. And some score updates from around the world of Major League Baseball. The Kansas City Royals up 4-3 on the Yankees. The Orioles and Red Sox playing right now. The Red Sox up 4-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. And the Cleveland Guardians up 5-0 on the Chicago White Sox. 5-0, top of the 5th inning. Bases are loaded for the Guardians. Blue Jays baseball is brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the action at the Rogers Center. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Thank you very much, Joe. New pitcher for the Mets. Second pitching change of the inning. They brought on Danny Young to start it, but he gave up 2 base runners in 3 batters. And now Jose Butto, a right-handed reliever, enters the game trying to shut down the Blue Jays rally. It's first and second for Toronto, 1 out, and Ernie Clement set to hit in this 1-0 game.
And keep in mind, this is a must-win game for the New York Mets. They're tied for that last wild card spot with the Atlanta Braves. So they'll do everything they can to win this game, stop this run from scoring at second base.
Addison Barger was scheduled to hit here. The Blue Jays bring in Clement, even though it goes right on right now. Clement hitting .258 on the year with 47 RBIs. Schneider on second, Kirk on first, and the pitch from Butto is low ball 1. Righty leads with his mid-90s four-seamer, throws a lot of sinkers, change-ups as well, and a little bit of slider sweeper. His 1-0. Clement hits it foul sharply on the ground into the Blue Jays' third base dugout.
Ironically, he's better against lefties than he is against righties. 121 against lefties and 220 against righties.
The sinker, the change, his pitches that move away from lefties seem to be his most effective. His 1-1. Inside 2-1. And he's had a nice year. After not having the greatest start to the season, he was in competition for the rotation in spring and lost that battle to Tyler McGill, who threw 6 shutout innings today. But in 26 games, 7 starts, he's put up a 2.70 ERA. And now he's going to step off the rubber.
He's really done everything this year. 7 games started, 3 saves.
Yeah, filled in the rotation. In April, McGill got hurt after his first start, and he made 7 starts then. 2-1. Swing and a hot shot through the hole on the ground, left side, a base hit into left field. Schneider gets the stop sign, ball back in quickly from Brandon Nimmo. But the bases are loaded after the Ernie Clement pinch hit single and only 1 out in the bottom of the 7th.
Oh boy, Carlos Fablis waited until the last possible second to hold up Davis Schneider at third base. That was a good call. Brandon Nimmo fielded that ball perfectly and got that ball in quickly.
He even was waving initially and then threw up the stop. Schneider hit the brakes so hard he fell down to the ground and scrambled back to second. But the Blue Jays now a fly ball away from tying up this game. It's 1-0 Mets. Pinch runner out at second base, by the way. Alejandro Kirk has been lifted from the game. Brian Servin is at second, and he represents the go-ahead run. Leo Jimenez bats for the Blue Jays. 1-0 Mets, and the pitch. Inside, ball 1. Jimenez 0 for 2 today, a flyout and a strikeout. Buto looking in. Now comes set at the belt. Here's 1-0. Down and away, 2-0. Leo started to swing, but checked it on that slider.
Oh boy, Buto's got to throw a strike here.
And before he does throw his next pitch, Francisco Alvarez raced out to the mound, and all the Mets infielders congregating as well. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth, by the way. I'm Ben Schulman. He's Chris LaRue.
It seems like the Blue Jays are playing really free and loose right now. The Mets are a little bit tight. They know that they have to win this game. The Blue Jays don't necessarily have to win this game, and you could see the difference.
Well, on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, the Reds, who are actually, funny enough, just playing the Mets while the Blue Jays were playing the Braves. Now the Reds are playing the Braves, and the Reds did beat Atlanta today, 1-0. So if the Mets win, they would have sole possession of that final wildcard spot. Again, if they lose, it's still a tie. 2-0 pitch to Jimenez. And it hit him. Hit him on the arm, and that's going to score the tying run. Jogging to the plate goes Davis Schneider. Up to third, Servin. Clement up to second. It's an RBI hit by pitch for Jimenez, and a 1-1 game.
And another guy that fastball was coming right at him. It didn't really seem like Leo was too interested in getting out of the way. Just hit him off the elbow, and the Blue Jays tie this ball game.
It's been an odd game so far. That is the 5th batter hit in this game combined. There are 4 total hits in this game. More guys have been hit by pitches than have come up with base hits. Bases still loaded for the Blue Jays. 1 out, now 1-1 game. Nathan Lucas up, the pitch. High ball 1. Mets have Ryan Stanek getting loose, who if he entered this inning would be their 3rd reliever, used in the 7th inning alone. Buto's 1-0. Swing and a miss. Fooled Lucas there on that changeup. That's been so effective, 1-1.
Yeah, that changeup is a little bit high velocity, but it had a ton of downward action to it, a good tumbling action. Nathan Lucas swings right over the top of it.
Right on left, the 1-1. Just downstairs with the fastball, 2 balls and 1 strike.
Sort of has a playoff atmosphere tonight, doesn't it?
I mean, for the Mets, it's like the next month is playoff games, almost. The Blue Jays have played either playoff hopefuls or guaranteed playoff teams over the last couple series. 2-1 pitch hit high in the air. Out to left field, pretty deep. Nimmo going back, camped under it. Servin tagging from third. Catch is made. Here comes the throw to the plate. Servin slides in under the throw, and the Blue Jays take the lead. 2-1. Toronto is up now on the sac fly by Nathan Lucas.
Pretty good job from John Snyder changing out Brian Servin for Alejandro Kirk. I think Alejandro Kirk doesn't even attempt to get home on that play right there if he's still in the ballgame.
Nimmo's a pretty good outfielder out there in left, and he made a decent throw. It was on line, but he was fairly deep, and the bounce was just a little bit too high for Alvarez to bring it back down. Smart base running, too. Both of the other base runners, Clement and Jimenez, tagged. So it's 2nd and 3rd for the Blue Jays with 2 outs and George Springer up. 2-1 Toronto, the pitch. Down and in, ball 1.
Do you think Alejandro Kirk even attempts to score on that play?
I don't know. That's tough. That's like right on my borderline. I think he probably tries.
He would have been thrown out by 10 feet.
Probably right. 1-0. Swing and a miss. Crowd loud now at Rogers Center with the Blue Jays rallying for a pair of runs this inning. 2 hits in the frame for the Blue Jays, who had only 1 hit in the first 6 innings. 1-1. Low, 2-1.
And Tommy Nance is getting loose out there in that Blue Jays bullpen. Might be coming into this ball game.
Ryan Yarbrough has gone pretty much up to the pitch count that he was stated to have before the game now. He's thrown 60 pitches. 2-1. Check swing, called strike, looked low. Springer bouncing around and walking away from the plate. It's 2-2. Clear frustration from George Springer.
It definitely wasn't that bad of a pitch. I thought that was a good pitch just below that strike zone, but I don't think it warranted George Springer jumping around and twirling around.
Back in the box, awaiting a 2-2. Butto kicks and delivers. Check swing pitch in the dirt, ball 3. Still clear frustration from Springer.
You got to turn the page.
2 potential RBIs for Springer on the base paths. Clement on third, Jimenez on second, 2 outs. Payoff pitch. Called strike 3. Fastball on the inside edge freezes Springer to end the 7th. But the Blue Jays rally for a pair of runs on a pair of hits. They leave 2 on, but lead 2-1. Go into the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The WNBA is on Sirius XM.
That's her toughest shot of the game, and she got it to go.
Every week, hear some of the best matchups throughout the league on NBA Radio Channel 86 and ESPN Extra Channel 81.
Tonight at 7:30 Eastern, the red-hot Minnesota Lynx take on the Atlanta Dream. Hear every second on NBA Radio Channel 86.
For a complete schedule of WNBA games on Sirius XM, go to SiriusXM.com/sports.
You love listening to baseball. You love talking about baseball. You love yelling at your buddies about baseball because they love baseball, and so do we. That's why SiriusXM has the only...
Cheers, Insiders. Thanks for hanging out with us for this Toronto Blue Jays game. I just wanted to take a minute and say thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button and becoming an insider. We are almost at 37,000, and it is insane to see this amount of growth. But it's Toronto, and we knew Toronto sports fans could do big things. That's why we're here. So let's cheer on our Blue Jays, and let's get back to the action. But before you do that, if you're new, please hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell so you don't miss it when we go live for every single Toronto sports game. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thanks for being an insider. Go Blue Jays, go.
When is this franchise going to realize people really care about this?
Passionate sports fans call 888-MAD-DOG-6.
You gotta love sports!
Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the Sirius XM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM.
That Radio Network.
This copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. Welcome back to Rogers Center in downtown Toronto. It's Blue Jays 2, Mets 1 as we start the 8th inning. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Lots of changes, including both on the mound and at the plate. Tommy Nance in for the Blue Jays, and a pinch hitter, Jesse Winker, bats for the Mets. Right on left, the first pitch is strike 1. Other changes include Brian Serven now being behind the plate. He came in as a pinch runner for Alejandro Kirk in the 7th. Davis Schneider pinch hit in the 7th. He's now at second in place of Will Wagner. Next pitch inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Nance kicks and delivers, and that one's in the dirt, 2-1. Ernie Clement also in the game. He pinch hit in the spot of Addison Barger. He takes over defensively for Barger at third. And that's all the changes for now. Just 5.
That's it?
That's it. 2-1. Check swing by Winker. Pitch called outside. 3-1.
Well, now you have to throw a strike. You have to throw something in that strike zone. You don't want to walk Winker to start off this inning.
Winker brought over from the Nationals to the Mets at the deadline, hitting .280 with the Mets. 3-1 pitch. Called strike, 3-2.
Good pitch. A ton of movement at the top of that strike zone, 94 miles an hour. That's his bread and butter right there.
6-6 right-hander set. His 3-2. High ball 4, and he walks Winker to start the inning.
You can see the frustration on Tommy Nance's face. He knows that he shouldn't have thrown that curveball there. He should have pounded the bottom of the strike zone with the sinker and see if Winker can do anything with it.
Instead, Winker aboard as the tying run. Blue Jays just took their first lead of the day, scoring their first 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th. 2-1 Toronto leads. Runner on first. Nobody out. Top of the 8th. And Francisco Alvarez, the Met catcher, will bat as there's a new runner. Tyrone Taylor has entered for Winker. Nance's pitch. Swing and a soft bouncer up the third baseline, barehanded by Clement. Snap throw to first, and it bounces away and rolls into foul territory. Taylor to third, turns around third, but he'll stop there. And it's runners on the corners, nobody out.
That is a tough break for Tommy Nance. A really good pitch, a fastball in on the hands. Such a weak ground ball, should have been an out. But Ernie Clement with the wild throw probably should have fielded that ground ball and just stuck it in his back pocket.
Yeah, they give the hit there to Alvarez for how difficult the play would have been, but also an error to Clement that moves Tyrone Taylor from second all the way to third. Only the second Met hit of the day. First one scored their first run. Now they have runners on the corners, nobody out, and Francisco Lindor up to the plate. Lindor 0 for 3 today, 2 strikeouts. Nance's pitch. Outside ball 1. Nance has been effective this season. 15 2/3 innings for the Blue Jays. An earned run average below 3. But this is a rough start to the outing. First and third, no outs. And the 1-0. Outside again, ball 2. Lindor steps into the box, bounces his bat off the plate twice, and rests it on his left shoulder. 2-0 pitch. Outside ball 3. Second base is open, but you also don't want to load the bases with nobody out. 3-0. Fastball down the middle for a strike.
Yeah, you still have to throw good pitches here. You don't want to throw something that Lindor can drive in a gap or even over the fence. But then again, you don't want to have the bases loaded with Vientos in that on-deck circle.
The 3-1. Fouled off the glove of Servin, full count.
That's such a good fastball. Started off the plate inside and then sank back over the plate. Francisco Lindor having a tough time with it.
Blue Jays infield is playing at double play depth, looking like they're willing to trade 2 outs for a run here. First and third, no outs, and the 3-2 is down and in ball 4. Bases loaded after 2 walks in the infield single. That's going to prompt a mound visit from Pete Walker.
Yeah, well, nowhere to put him now. Tommy Nance has been a little bit erratic with the fastball, pretty erratic with that curveball. He's got to find it here with the bases loaded, nobody out. An almost impossible situation.
Eric Swanson is starting to loosen up for the Blue Jays in the left field bullpen. Toronto's bullpen day has gone very well so far, but this has been their toughest inning since Yarbrough gave up the run in the 4th. And like you said, it's nearly impossible what they're trying to do here. Keep a 2-1 lead where the Mets have the bases loaded, nobody out.
And it's really easy to pinpoint why this inning is going sideways. Tommy Nance has 2 walks.
Eddie Alvarez is in to pinch run at second base. He comes in for Francisco Alvarez. So the catcher lifted from the game. That is the go-ahead run. Tying run at third. Lindor at first. Nobody out. And Vientos steps up. Corners in for the Blue Jays. Middle infield back. And Stu Sherwater out from the side of the plate to talk to Tommy Nance. No pitch clock violation given, just a little bit of back and forth. And now we're ready to go.
That was some loud back and forth.
Nance's pitch. Called strike. Perfect breaking ball on the outside corner, 0-1.
And if the base is loaded and nobody are out, that's the way you want to start that next hitter. Perfect pitch from Tommy Nance.
Vientos asks for time after the first pitch and takes some swings. He's had some clutch hits for the Mets this year, including a pair of walk-off home runs. Hit one on Friday. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Waves over top of the curve. It's 0-2.
And now you have to expand, either elevate with that fastball or bounce that breaking ball. Nothing in the strike zone here. Nothing hittable. You want a strikeout.
0-2. Down and away, blocked on the backhand side by Servin. They bounced the slider, and he got his glove on it to keep it in front of him.
You could tell he overthrew that. He knew that he needs a strikeout in this situation. He doesn't want that runner on third base to score, and he yanked it. Almost threw it to the backstop. Brian Servin did a good job blocking that baseball.
Nance still ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bases loaded, nobody out, 2-1 Blue Jays. The pitch. Low, and a take there from Vientos on another slider, 2-2. Slider's kind of the third pitch behind the fastball and the curveball.
Yeah, and he's thrown 2 in a row. Not really close either.
2-2. Bounced it to the plate, off the right side of Servin, and coming to the plate, a run will score. Jesse Winker, or rather the pinch runner Tyrone Taylor, comes in on the wild pitch. Up to third base goes Eddie Alvarez. Lindor stayed at first, but now it's a 2-2 game.
And I tell you what my thought process would be right there. I would elevate a fastball, maybe 2 of them, especially with the count 0-2, because there's no chance of throwing a wild pitch there. There's really no chance of getting a base hit. The only thing he can do is either pop it up or swing through it. 3 breaking balls in a row right there from Tommy Nance. Tough for Brian Servin.
Runs coming in unconventional ways today. Not a lot of hits involved. Only 5 in the game. First and third, nobody out. Full count. And the pitch to Vientos. Called strike 3. Borderline call, top of the zone curveball. Vientos yelling out no as the call was made, but for Nance, an important first out.
Yeah, I think that curveball right there clipped the top of the strike zone. Vientos obviously not happy with that call, but a very big strikeout for Tommy Nance.
Now he's searching for a ground ball here with runners on the corners and 1 out. It's 2-2. Blue Jays and Mets, and Brandon Nimmo is up. Nance set just below his chin. Kicks and releases. Swing and a miss. And the ball skips away from Servin. The runner coming to the plate, Alvarez, and he dives in head first to give the Mets a 3-2 lead. First one was a wild pitch, but almost certainly that'll go down as a pass ball as that fastball hit the glove of the catcher and rolled away to the right.
Yeah, that's definitely a pass ball. That was a very, very catchable ball from Brian Servin. It's a tough way for that go-ahead run to score for the Toronto Blue Jays. That pitch did have a lot of movement on it.
Contending with the swing of Nimmo, but it went off the glove of Servin through his legs. And now the Mets are up 3-2. Runner on second, still 1 out. And the 1-0 pitch from Tommy Nance. Inside. Pardon me, that was an 0-1 pitch, so a miss inside makes it 1 ball, 1 strike. Blue Jays just took the lead in the bottom of the 7th before the Mets snatched it back, and now the 1-1 pitch misses inside, 2-1. Nance is 2-1. Swing and a fly ball, shallow center. Varsho charging into left center, makes the catch, and there are 2 outs. We're kind of seeing on back-to-back days moves that are a bit of a double-edged sword or a give and take for the Blue Jays. Yesterday they brought in Spencer Horwitz, and he hit a huge home run for the Blue Jays, but then had a bit of a tough time in the field. Today, you had mentioned it, Brian Serven scoring on a sac fly that likely Kirk doesn't score on, but then Serven having a bit of trouble behind the plate, and it's hurt Toronto. Pitch now to Pete Alonso, waved at and missed 0-1. Not to say that the 2 runs in this inning are all on Serven. They're certainly not, but just the last one coming in on a pass ball.
So that first breaking ball is a really tough ball to block. I don't think Alejandro Kirk blocks that ball either, but that next one is inexcusable.
Runner taken off on the 0-1 to third, and he'll get there without a throw. Swing and a miss by Alonso. But Francisco Lindor caught everyone sleeping. No one was covering the bag, and he swipes third.
And the reason why I say it's inexcusable is that go-ahead run is on third base. You have to be extra focused as a catcher. You have to catch everything, block everything, and obviously Brian Serven took his eye off the ball right there.
0-2 to Alonso. Down and away, ball 1. Lindor now on third after his 27th stolen base of the year. 3-2 Mets, 2 outs, top of the 8th. One-two pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He gets him on a breaking ball. Alonso goes down to end the inning. Damage done, though. The Mets scored 2 on 1 hit. Blue Jays kick it around a little bit. 1 runner left on, and it's 3-2 Mets, middle of the 8th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
So, you want to be a loony dogger, eh? Every Tuesday Blue Jays home game is loony.
What's up, Blue Jays fans? All right, I can't hear you. It's kind of dead right now. The Jays are down, but this game's not over. It's comeback time. Let's go, boys. What can Vladdy and the team do? Come on, let's hear it, chat. I want to see you guys in the chat. Start spamming that Go Jays Go, and let's get back to it. Finish strong, Blue Jays.
We're 2 men in a truck, the movers who care. You never know when cardiac arrest can happen. That's why each and every one of our trucks carries a life-saving Mikey defibrillator as part of our Mikey on Board program. Whether we're on the highway or in front of your house, we're prepared to help anyone whose heart may skip a beat. The Mikey Network has saved many lives, making Mikey's accessible to the public. And now they're on board our trucks. We're 2 men in a truck.
2 men and a truck, the movers who care.
Monday, September 23rd on City TV.
I like to know what my patients are experiencing to feel how they're feeling.
New series Brilliant Minds follows revolutionary neurologist Dr. Oliver Wolf.
You can't treat a patient without understanding who they really are.
As he explores the human mind.
You see the stuff the rest of us miss. It's a gift.
I choose to walk with my patients, find a path forward when nobody else will.
The series premiere of Brilliant Minds, Monday, September 23rd on City TV.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. How about 99 right down the middle, beats Manzardo.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to a back-and-forth game at Rogers Center. Mets leading the Blue Jays 3-2. Each of these teams having scored 2 runs the last time they came up to the plate. The Blue Jays now try to counterpunch the Mets again as a new pitcher comes on for New York. Ryan Stanek pitches here in the 8th inning. Bottom of the 8th features Varsho, Guerrero, and Horwitz scheduled to hit for the Blue Jays. The pitch. Stanek misses up top, ball 1.
And Stanek hasn't been great this year, an ERA approaching 5, but he's been good in the past, and he still has the big stuff. Big fastball, big breaking ball.
1-0. Down and in, 2-0. Stanek averages 98 on the 4-seamer Hard splitter, good slider, and occasionally throws a sinker. His 2-0. Down and in ball 3.
I'm assuming he has the take sign here, 3-0.
You would think in a one-run game, and Guerrero on deck. 3-0 pitch. Called strike.
Good to see Vlad on deck, actually. He was limping off the field in his last at-bat.
Last time Guerrero went up, he fouled a ball off his exposed toes on his right foot, or his left foot, rather. 3-1. Swing and a miss, 3-2. And he went down into the clubhouse with head athletic trainer Jose Ministral. Now, he had time to do that as the DH also, rather than if he was playing first, but he's on deck taking swings, getting ready to bat after Varsho. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Good bounce back from Stanek after falling behind 3-0. He gets Varsho with 97 for the first out.
Yeah, 3 really good fastballs, and that last one was almost at the hands. Really tough to hit. Just snuck it above the bat. You can see Dalton Varsho frustrated with that one. Not much he could do with it.
Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who's 0 for 2 with a walk. 3-2 Mets, 1 out, bottom of the 8th. Stanek's pitch. Called strike. Blue Jays have seen Stanek this year. He began the season with the Seattle Mariners and was actually traded to the Mets right after the Mariners traded for Jimmy Garcia. 0-1. High and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
99 with that fastball. Makes you wonder why that ERA is so inflated.
Especially with the Mets. I mean, he's mid-4s with Seattle this year, up near 7 in his limited time with the Mets. Swing and a miss, had a splitter in the dirt, 1-2. And a big part of it, Chris, is exactly what you think it is. It's walks. Not crazy, but 23 and under 50 innings.
That's always what I think it is. When I see a guy with stuff like this, even with McGill, the starter of this game, if you have an inflated ERA, you tend to think that...
1-2 pitch almost hits Vlad in the head right on cue. Splitter slipped out of the hand of Stanek. Certainly no intent there. But Guerrero had to matrix duck out of the way and then jog out of the box.
Yeah, that is not a good feeling as a hitter. Even though it was a split finger, that thing came right by his nose.
Pretty good flexibility there from Vlad to duck out of the way. And he's all right, stepping back in before a 2-2 pitch. Guerrero sitting on 28 homers. Stanek's 2-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 99 above the zone, and there are 2 outs.
Such good velocity, such good life through the strike zone. 99. I mean, that fastball was up and away, not in the strike zone, but you have to at least protect that pitch right there. Too close to take, and Stanek just blew it by Vlad.
2 quick outs on 2 swinging strikeouts. Here's Spencer Horwitz, who owns one of 3 Blue Jay hits today. Stanek's pitch in the dirt, ball 1. By the way, defensively, the Mets made a couple changes this inning. A lot of pinch hitting and pinch running in the top of the 8th. Luis Torrens is now the catcher. Francisco Alvarez was taken out, and Tyrone Taylor remains in center field, replacing Bader. 1-0. Called strike. Eric Swanson loosening up for the Blue Jays in left. Looks like he'll pitch the 9th inning for Toronto. Blue Jays trailing 3-2. Horwitz swings at the 1-1 and misses out in front of that splitter. 1-2. Horwitz taps the plate, points the bat up toward the sky, and now wheels it around to his left shoulder. Right on left, the pitch. Swing and a chopper foul right side.
Pretty hittable split finger right there from Stanek. It was almost right down the middle, but just enough change in velocity to get Spencer Horwitz out in front. Just fouls it off.
Home plate umpire Stu Sherwater is dusting off the plate, so Stanek goes to get some dirt out of his cleats at the back of the hill and now walks back up to the rubber. Right-hander pulls on the brim of his cap and then touches the back of it, and now comes set just above the belt. The kick and the 1-2. Swing and a foul ball sent right back behind home plate and off to the left of us. Still a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, you knew that pitch was coming. After a split finger that was left over the middle of the plate, he came right back with that hard fastball up at the top of the zone. Spencer Horwitz just fouls it back.
Another 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Ryan Stanek strikes out the side in the 8th inning and sends us to the 9th at Rogers Center, where the Mets hold on to a 3-2 lead. Eric Swanson in the game next. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hear the ABC News presidential debate and hear special coverage from ABC News Live on Channel 370, beginning at 7 p.m. East.
We're going to win back the White House. We're going to make this country greater than it's ever been.
We will move forward. With post-debate coverage on Triumph, Otis, Sirius XM Patriot, and Sirius XM Progress. Call in to have your voice heard.
My generation wants answers.
The ABC News presidential debate, Tuesday, live on the Sirius XM News and political channels.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio, every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
This is Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum and host of the award-winning podcast, Black Diamonds. This week, we discuss the career of one of the greatest, if not the greatest, power hitter of all time, the legendary Josh Gibson.
To receive the award with Josh Gibson's name on it, because all everybody ever talked about was Babe Ruth. It just hit different.
Listen to Black Diamonds right now on the all-new Sirius XM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Blue Jays fans, no matter where you are, you won't miss a pitch with the Sirius XM app. Hear every game all season long. Download the Sirius XM app and search Blue Jays.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer today. Andrew Adams and Tom Young, our technical directors. And coming up after the game, Blair and Barker have Blue Jays talk. Mets 3, Blue Jays 2. Eric Swanson in for Toronto to try to keep it a one-run game in the top of the 9th. 37th appearance of the season for Swanson, whose ERA is just above 6. His pitch to Jose Iglesias. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Swanson coming off a nice series against the Braves. Pitched a scoreless inning in 2/3 across 2 appearances with 3 strikeouts. 0-1. Fastball in there, 0-2. Iglesias will ask for time after seeing a slider and a 4-seamer from Swanson, who also features the splitter. 0-2 pitch. Swing and a liner over the leap of the third baseman Clement and down in left field. Cut off by Lucas, and that'll keep the batter Iglesias to a single, but it's a leadoff base runner for the Mets.
Wasn't a terrible pitch from Eric Swanson. It was just a split finger that kind of dipped below the strike zone, but Iglesias is in protect mode, so he's keeping that barrel back, and he kind of just flicks it and hits a good line drive to left field, but I would have elevated a fastball there. Try to blow that thing by him.
Well, like you mentioned, I mean, he didn't leave that up. That was an ankle-high splitter. But Iglesias golfs it into left, and now J.D. Martinez up 1 for 3. The pitch. Called strike. It's 3-2 Mets, and J.D. Martinez owns the only run-scoring hit in this game. The other 4 runs have come in on sac flies, wild pitches, hit batters, pass balls. 0-1. Bounce to the plate, 1-1. I mean, you could say this a lot of days because baseball is that type of sport. It's been a weird day, Chris. It's been a really weird day.
Well, we saw Tyler McGill just absolutely dominate the Blue Jays, and he hasn't had a great year. Although he does have great stuff.
Well, I was going to say, that's a meaner way to say that it's been a weird day. But it is true. A lot of hit batters today, not a lot of hits. 1-1. Swinging a foul back, 1-2. A fair number of strikeouts. It doesn't even feel like the ball has been hit to the outfield all that often today. And the Mets just edging the Blue Jays right now, up 3-2. Runner on first, nobody out. 1-2 count on Martinez. The pitch. Swing and a chopper to short. Jimenez fields, flips over to second one. Schneider to first, double play. Wipes away the leadoff single, 6-4-3. The Blue Jays turn that double play, and there are 2 outs with nobody on in the top of the ninth.
Really well located fastball there, 96 miles an hour, down and away. The only thing J.D. Martinez could do with that pitch is just roll over into a double play. A big pitch for Eric Swanson.
Now needs to get Marte to send the Blue Jays to the bottom of the ninth. 3-2 Mets, and the pitch to Starling Marte. Called strike. Ernie Clement is a little bit in case Marte tries to bunt, although the outfielder not quite as fast as he was in his Pittsburgh days. 0-1. Foul tipped, 0-2.
Still looks fast, though.
Looks fast. But
he is put together, boy, oh boy.
He's gone from 90th percentile to more middle of the pack speed in Major League Baseball at this point. 0-2. High, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And the thing that I remember most about Starling, playing in AAA with him, playing in the big leagues with him, he had an absolute cannon. I don't know if he still does, but he used to have an incredible arm. 1-2. Swing and a soft liner picked on a bounce by Jimenez. He throws it over to first and ends the inning. No runs, a hit, nobody left for the Mets. And New York up 3-2 going to the bottom of the ninth after a well-worked inning by Eric Swanson. Edwin Diaz on the mound next. Blue Jays need 1 to tie, 2 to win it. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays are inviting you to work from Dome. Put it in your calendar. 307 weekday starts this season. You can work from Dome with friends or coworkers at Rogers Center. It's a game changer. Make the ballpark your office for the afternoon. Work from Dome, 307 weekday starts. Let's touch base. Check out ticket options on BlueJays.com/workfromdome.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between pizza and inflation. First to the plate, with over 2 million sold, it's Fixed Rate Pizza, a hot and fresh extra-large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for Fixed Rate Pizza. Lock in yours today.
Order pizza.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Fielded at second, Horwitz steps on the bag, throws to first, double play.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Baseball. Show Ali with you. The Jays trail the Mets 3-2 as we head to the bottom of the ninth inning at the Rogers Center. Don't forget, we do have Jays Talk this evening. Blair and Barker have you covered on the postgame show. They are both down at the Dome this evening. They will take your calls. Jeff will throw out the numbers for you to call after the final out. Blue Jays Baseball, as always, brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. The Jays trail the Mets 3-2. We're headed to the bottom of the ninth inning at the Rogers Center. Here's Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue with the call.
Thank you, Show. No trumpets at Rogers Center, but Edwin Diaz is in the ballgame. The Mets closer finishing up his warm-up pitches before he embarks on a ninth inning against Davis Schneider, Brian Servin, and Ernie Clement, trying to protect the Mets' 3-2 lead in the bottom of the ninth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Diaz returning this year after missing all of last season. Hasn't quite been himself. 3.71 ERA and 16 for 22 in saves, but at his peak is one of the best closers in baseball. Right-hander kicks and fires to Davis Schneider, who hits the first pitch in the air, foul, out of play, 0-1.
And has some of the best walkout music in history.
He does. Not at this ballpark, though.
Hopefully not in this ballpark.
Yeah. Well, we know. He just did. So we're all good there. Diaz is 0-1. Down and away. Right-hander is slider, four-seamer, high 90s fastball. Breaking ball will be in the 90s. 1-1. Swing and a miss.
And he's another guy with funky delivery, high leg lift, kind of a funky little arm action. It's part of the reason why he's so good.
His 1-2. Inside, almost hit Schneider with a 98-mile-per-hour fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. An energetic crowd at Rogers Center today. It's been close throughout. The 2-2. Called strike 3. 98 right down the middle gets Schneider for the first out of the bottom of the 9th.
That's a tough take right there from Davis Schneider. You at least have to protect right there, even if you're not thinking fastball. That was 98, almost right down Broadway. Man, that's a tough take.
Good start if you're on Diaz in the Mets side. A strikeout is Schneider. And now Brian Serven is up. First pitch is hit off the fist, a looper into shallow left. Nimmo charging in, and he gets there in time. 2 down.
Thought that was dropping off the bat.
Got pretty close, and tough spot for Serven, hitting for the first time against Edwin Diaz in this ball game. Went up swinging, but Diaz now has 2 very quick outs, and the Blue Jays' hopes rest on Ernie Clement. 3-2 the Mets leading the Blue Jays. 2 outs, bases empty, bottom 9. First pitch to Clement, runs inside, ball 1. Diaz set below the belt, looking down. Now the 1-0. Ground ball hit over the mound. Deep at second, it's fielded there by Iglesias, and he eats it. He has no play. Once it got past Edwin Diaz, it was a little bit of trouble. Iglesias got to the ball, but he was on the center field turf and decided not to rush a throw.
Yeah, Edwin Diaz reached up. I thought that he had a chance at getting that baseball, but it snuck past his glove, and as soon as it got past Edwin Diaz, I mean, Ernie Clement's safe at first base. Jose Iglesias, like you said, he had no chance to get him.
Tying run on first, winning run at the plate. Leo Jimenez, the pitch. Called strike. Last time the Blue Jays were at Rogers Center, Leo Jimenez hit a 9th-inning home run. 0-1. Low 1-1. That was in the Blue Jays' 10-9 loss, the first of the 2 games they played against Philadelphia. 1-1. Clement takes off from first, and the pitch is hit foul, 1-2. Blue Jays trying to get that tying run into scoring position, but Ernie Clement has to jog back to first after the Jimenez foul off, and now Toronto is down to its last strike. Mets 3, Blue Jays 2. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Clement on first in the 1-2. Swing and a high fly ball. Deep right field. Marte going back at the wall, and he makes the catch on the track to win the game. The Mets eke out the victory. A chuckle from Edwin Diaz as he flirts with danger, but picks up the save, and the Mets win it 3-2.
Well, that was a tough loss for the Toronto Blue Jays. Tommy Nance coming into that ball game, and he was a little bit erratic, threw some wild pitches there, but Brian Serven with a very catchable ball ended up being a pass ball, not an earned run for Tommy Nance, but a really tough way to lose this ball game. Ryan Yarbrough pitched really well. Tyler McGill pitched really well. It was a fun game to watch.
Blue Jays fall 3-2. We're going to take a quick step aside, wrap this one up, and then get you over to Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker. So don't go anywhere. 3-2 again, the final in favor of the Mets. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
We're 2menintruck.ca. We've got lots of men and lots of trucks, so get ready to be moved.
Think 2menintruck.ca. So when you gotta move, I'll move one day. Think 2menintruck.ca. Cause all of us movers are not the same. So that's our company name, 2menintruck.ca. We're lots of men with lots of trucks, so give us a call today.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
In time! What a play, Bichette!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The Blue Jays dropped the series opener to the New York Mets. So back and forth, awkward game ends 3-2 in favor of the visitors. Thanks for sticking around. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Chris, this was an interesting pitching matchup going into it. The Blue Jays decided a little bit late to go with a bullpen day headed up by Ryan Burr and Ryan Yarbrough. The Mets had scheduled to go with Paul Blackburn, but ended up switching that today to Tyler McGill. And on both sides, that ended up being a good thing as they both pitched very well, the Ryan combo and McGill.
Well, the Blue Jays bullpen really held this thing together. Even Tommy Nance, who obviously had the loss in this ballgame, didn't really pitch poorly in this ballgame, but Tyler McGill was really, really impressive. Came out with underwhelming numbers this season and really for the majority of his career, but he absolutely pitched well tonight. That fastball, 97-98. And other than the first inning, he dotted it all night long. A really impressive performance from him.
McGill gave up 2 hits and a walk in the first and then retired 16 in a row, en route to 6 scoreless innings. And other than that, the Blue Jays threatened in the 7th inning and end up scoring 2. But for as much as they made a couple misplays in the inning that the Mets took the lead, Toronto just did not get anything going offensively tonight. 4 hits total, and that's why they scored only 2 runs.
Yeah, I mean, they had their chances. And I think that if you look back, if you're John Schneider and Guillermo Martinez, you probably look back and think that the Blue Jays had their chances. But, I mean, I know the Blue Jays fans don't want to hear this. The Mets had some good arms out there today, right? Ryan Stanek, Edwin Diaz, even Tyler McGill. Those guys have good fastballs, a lot of life through the strike zone, good split fingers. Tip your cap.
Mets take the ball game 3-2 over the Blue Jays for New York. 3 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 4 left. The Blue Jays scored 2 on 4 hits, 1 error, 6 left on base. Ryan Stanek gets the win in relief. He's now 7-3. Tommy Nance picks up the loss. And for Edwin Diaz, save number 17 on the season. This one took 2 hours and 39 minutes in front of a crowd of about 27,500 on a closed roof day at Rogers Center. The Blue Jays lose 3-2. Toronto falls to 68-77 on the year. The Mets 79-65 will now retake that sole possession of the 3rd wildcard spot in the National League with the Braves falling today. 3-2 the final. Thank you so much for tuning in today. From our technical directors, Tom Young and Andrew Adams, our host and producer, Sho Ali, and my partner, Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Hope you have a great rest of your night, and stick around. It's time for Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker. It starts right now.
All right, Mr. Barker. The Toronto Blue Jays losing 3-2 to the New York Mets in the first game of this 3-game series at the Rogers Center. It is Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker. This is Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network. The numbers to call, as always, 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. If you want to send us a text, please do so at 590-590. name and location, please. We have a lot to talk about out of this game. We've also got a lot to talk about today. Bo Bichette's comments to Shai Davidi, making a lot of news. If you want to weigh in on that, feel free to talk about that with us, as well as this game. And Kevin Barker, interesting, I know that Ben Schulman made this point. At one point in the game, there were more hit batters than actual hits in the game. And I guess it's kind of fitting in a way that the Blue Jays would end up losing this game on a pass ball and with passed balls and wild pitches coming into play, because it really was that type of game, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, I think a team that's got a top 6 payroll running out Tommy Nance in the 8th inning, up a run facing the Mets with 18 games left. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, you've been saying this on our show forever. You know, basically punted halfway through the season on the bullpen. I mean, nothing against Tommy Nance. I mean, he's doing his best.
He's had a good September so far.
Absolutely, but he's pitching the 8th inning, up a run against the Mets at home with a top 6 payroll. And again, look, there was other reasons, right? The top 3 guys in the lineup, Springer, Varsho, Vladdy, 0 for 11, 6 punchies. Then you have the bad 8th inning, right? You got the lead. You need to play good defense. I mean, they had some bad luck on the swing and bunt. I mean, the first pitch, the first batter of the 8th inning, Tommy walks. Like, it's just little things like that. I mean, look. You understand why they're where they're at because of what they've done to their season. But Jeff, I mean, it's like Tommy Nance in the 8th inning against the Mets at home with 18 games left of the season with a top 6 payroll.
I mean, everybody's auditioning for jobs. That's why you saw
Tommy Nance is auditioning for a job next year.
He sure is. Absolutely he is. I mean, we spent all the time talking about how much they need to overhaul their bullpen. I don't think there's I look at this.
See what the Mets run out there? See what the Blue Jays run out there?
Yeah. Well, but unlike the Blue Jays, though, the Mets, the Mets have spent their time adding guys with stuff. You know, they've added guys like Ryan Stanek. They've acted like a team that, seriously intended to be in the playoffs. Whereas we've talked about this. I think it's no surprise. I just think that based on how this team reacted to not having Garcia and Romano for the longest time, I mean, this gets to what you always talk about with the sense of urgency. I certainly didn't see it this year, but look, Tommy Nance. Maybe Tommy Nance factors in next year. I don't know. As Dan Schulman says, this month is a fact-finding mission, and if as part of that fact-finding you find out that Tommy Nance isn't good enough to pitch in leverage situations, then you found something out. I don't know what else to tell you. I do have a problem. 8th inning, 8-hitter. A 3-2 curve.
His best pitch.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Best pitch.
Well,
to a lefty. They're hitting 100 off his curveball. Like, if you want to come out
on 3-2,
if you want to come out and say that he is trying to make a team next year, you want to get beat by your best pitch. His best pitch is breaking ball because the pitch hitting lefty.
No, 3-2. I'm going to throw.
You can't have it both ways.
I'm going to 3-2. I'm going to throw a fastball.
I mean,
if your fastball isn't good enough to use it in that situation, and you're throwing a feel pitch, we're finding this out about. These guys.
It is pretty alarming though that 3 dudes like a Stanek, like a Diaz, like a McGill can work through this lineup pretty easy with a fastball. Like, I think that if you want to point your finger at one thing that needs to be fixed sooner than later, it's getting a lineup that consistently can hammer the good old number 1. Like, that doesn't change. Like, you can have great approaches and sit certain pitches and certain counts. I mean, for us to take this lineup and this team and this organization going into the offseason and into next season serious and wanting to make another run at this thing, they got to figure out how to consistently hammer fastballs. One thing, get a team out with breaking balls. Most dudes don't make a living off hitting the breaking ball, but you better figure out how to hit the heater. And consistently, you saw 3 dudes. Now, they had the heater, and they were locating it somewhat, but it was pretty easy per at bat to walk through that lineup pretty much with, one pitch. Maybe a couple of them were headed in opposite directions, but still the good old number 1, and that's the one thing I think is, whatever their pitching is. But the lineup consistently all year has had the one problem. What is it, Jeff? It's hitting the fastball.
The fastball. The Jays, by the way, are 5-8 in this run of games against teams that are on the cusp of the playoffs. You want to include the Boston Red Sox in that mix. And we are, I've said this time and again, and I will continue to say it. These games are showing just how much work the Blue Jays have to do to be a playoff team.
Well said.
And, I look at the Mets. I don't think anybody's forecasting the Mets are going to win the World Series. The Braves, they're a playoff team. I don't think anybody's saying they're going to win a World Series. Like, this team is far away from contending for a playoff spot, let alone being a team that you might fancy, winning the World Series.
Yeah, but
there's just a lot of work
there was some good things. Bird was good. Frias was good. Yarbrough, basically doesn't pitch. He was real good.
I got to tell you, you know what? I don't know if I want to see Ryan Yarbrough back here next year.
I mean, I'm sure it would depend on how much he cost and what they get and what they don't get. And yeah, but me too. I mean, for a dude to not pitch 10 games between or 10 days between one outing and then 8 days between this outing and come out and look the way he looked against a playoff team. Oh, look, that's...
You know what he gives me? It's not one of your favorite words. And yes, I understand. I don't want to pay him $14 million a year. But, and I'm exaggerating how much he'd want. He gives me predictability.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a little trickery. Because his height, he's 6'6".
The at-bats.
Got deception with the three-quarter arm slot.
The at-bats.
He's got run with the fastball, way to the righty, into the lefty. I mean, that's, he's got the big slow breaking ball. He can throw the back foot slider. Like, he's got some things to get dudes out. You saw Lindor with the little smile, like, I can't hit you. Like, that's a good hitter who's having some frustrations with a guy that, quite frankly, probably shouldn't have that with. And, yeah, I'm with you. Again, he's not my first choice, but why not?
Shane in Mississauga, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
Howdy, fellas. I'm just curious what you feel about keeping Schneider in again in the ninth inning when we had an actual winnable game going on. In my opinion, I love him. What he did last year, he's going to be the answer to trivia questions and everything. That's fantastic. But if he wants to continue having a role on the team, he's not even mashing lefties. He's got to go back down to AAA. Somebody like Rodin should have been up in his place already. The guy got Player of the Month rookie in the minor leagues for August or September. I can't remember which, but he would have been a better option to be throwing out there right now than Schneider. Just his whole downfall this year is a huge hole in his swing. He can't hit the heater. He's not picking up the breaking balls. So I just wanted to hear what you guys had to say about that.
Yeah, listen, I've given up on what it is with Davis Schneider. Somebody really likes him in this organization. If this was a team that was playing for anything this year, I'd be a little more worked up than I am. But I do wonder. I look at Nathan Lucas. Nathan Lucas has been in this organization forever, and they've bypassed him. They've brought guys in from other organizations. They've traded for guys. I mean, my God, he was like basically the last guy in Buffalo called up here, I guess, other than Alan Rodin. And, he looks like a guy who can handle the bat. I don't know why he wasn't up here earlier. I don't know why Davis Schneider is still getting plate appearances. Never mind hitting, being able to hit left-handed pitching. To me, he's just an easy out.
Okay, whenever we had John on, I asked that. Why wouldn't you send him down, let him catch his breath, exhale, not have every at-bat be the seventh, game of the World Series, and you're chasing hits at this level, and it sounds to me like they've given him adjustments to make, and he's trying to learn how to make those adjustments here, and they're going to give him an opportunity to do it. So that's John Schneider saying that. That's not me. I would assume that we take his word and believe that, they have more faith right now in Davis than a lot of people that watch his at-bats on an everyday basis. So you pull for him, you root for him. I mean, if they're going to leave him up here, hopefully he gets out of this. Hopefully he has a little bit of momentum and can run into the offseason. You know, we talk about
It's
that.
too late for that,
We
Kevin.
talk, well, I mean, it's the Mendoza line, right?
It's
I mean,
too late for that.
There's certain goals that you set for yourself. Now it's about getting above 200.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost at the point
that's
with
where
this
it's
guy
at.
where I think the best thing they can do for him is, I don't know about sending a guy down to AAA with 2 weeks left in the season is kind of a slap in the face. I think I'll probably do with what John Schneider's doing right now, and just he's like my last option on the bench. That's the way I would look at him. I don't know how much is accomplished by sending him down to AAA.
Yeah, I don't think you can leave him in the big leagues. Ask him to make adjustments. I see sometimes you see his leg kick to his ear, sometimes you don't. Like tonight, it wasn't. Like you saw a dude throwing harder. He made an adjustment. That's obviously coming from the 19 hitting coaches they got. It's a group effort of trying to get him on the same page and have some productive advance, and it doesn't have to be a positive outcome. Like they're just looking at him different than everybody else is.
Of course. Well, yeah, I mean, they quite often do that. 416-870-0590, star 590, 1-888-666-0590. Look, by now it's obvious that they're seeing something we're not seeing, or we're not seeing something that they're seeing, or we're seeing something they're not seeing, or whatever. It's just obvious. And, I just don't think we can figure out a lot of the evaluations this front office makes. I really don't. And my sense is I'm probably not the only one. Mark in Panama. You're kidding me. Welcome to Blue Jays Talk. Like, are we talking Panama? Are we talking Panama, or like Panama City, or?
No, Panama City, Panama.
Wow.
I'm moving around doing some business. I'm actually down here looking for catchers that don't sit on one knee. That's it.
You want to talk about Brian Servin?
Yeah, a little disappointed. Like everybody said, Martinez said, they said after the game, the guys after the game, that, when there's runners on third base, you can't move on one knee, and that's the story. I mean, you gotta teach the guy that, and you gotta get back to regular position so you can move laterally.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks for the call, Mark. Stay safe and travel safely. Look, this is the thing, though. And Buck has talked about this, and Buck is certainly way more of an expert than I think we are, Kevin. But there's such an emphasis on stealing strikes low in the zone and pitch framing and all that good stuff that essentially you have to sacrifice something. And what gets sacrificed, in a lot of cases, the ability to block the ball. And
pass balls with runner on third don't happen a lot. That's why they don't change.
Yeah, actually, that's
real simple.
Yep.
Stealing strikes, tricking the umpire works more times than a pass ball with a runner on third or a wild pitch with a runner on third. That's why they don't change. Yep. We can yell and scream and not like it. They're tricking more than they have to worry about blocking and pass balls and runners on third. So
yeah, and don't forget, that's also, stealing the low strike and pitch framing and all that. You get paid for that now. You get paid for that as a catcher. That's, one of the reasons that one of the pushbacks against the automated strike zone is that, there's a whole class of players in baseball who depend on that skill to get paid. Ask Alejandro Kirk how important that is. Alejandro Kirk wouldn't have survived last year if it wasn't for his ability to frame pitches.
I don't believe you.
What?
That he wouldn't have survived.
It certainly wasn't his offense last year that was getting him in. It was what's his strength always been? His ability to frame pitches.
Hi.
Lee and Caledon, you're on Blue Jays Talk.
How are you guys? You guys are amazing. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, I just wanted to talk about Bichette because I didn't get a chance to actually look. I just heard it from the front of the broadcast there that you guys said. Just wanted to find out what he said and if that impacts any of the players that he might say in the media or himself when he says comments like that.
Yeah, I mean, what he said was, in an interview with Shai Davidi today, that he wants to stay here, he wants to win here, he wants to win with Vladdy. At the end of the day, what does it mean? I guess it's nice that Bo is happy here. That's one thing. I guess one thing we can check off when he does return here this year. I don't think it matters a tinker's dam, to be honest.
What is that?
You know, it's. I mean, Vladdy's wanted to sign here for 4 years.
Yep.
They haven't talked to him about signing here for 4 years. Bo coming out and saying that I want to stay here. I don't think it'll resonate with the front office at all. They've made their minds up. I truly believe this. They've made their minds up on Bo and Vladdy. We may not know what it is. It may not be the road that we think it is. In other words, you know, we're sitting here saying, well, they haven't had any serious discussions with Vladdy, therefore they don't want him to sign. I said today, maybe Mark Shapiro knows the money's there, and he doesn't feel any need to get around to negotiating until this off season or early in the season. That's entirely possible. But that was sort of the gist of the story. And, as I said, it removes a little bit of a talking point when Bo does return. We're led to believe that'll be next Monday, that he'll finish out the final 2 weeks of the regular season with the team. It removes that narrative from the picture. But beyond that, I don't, like I said, I don't think it really makes a difference one way or another. Do I think the chances of Bo signing today do I think the chances of Bo signing are any better after what he said? No. Do I think they're any worse after what he said? No. Do I think the chances of him being traded are greater after what he said? No. Do I think the chances of him being traded are less after what he said? No. I just don't think it's had an impact one way or another.
It seems like it made Bo feel better.
Which is good.
He felt like he needed to come out and say what he said. And, you know, any bearing or feelings towards other players, I don't think other players care. As long as he's not mentioning their name. I mean, he said all great things about Vladdy, which he wouldn't. I mean, Vladdy's had him a tremendous 4 months.
Yeah, speaking of Vladdy, he did foul a ball off. And now it looked to us like he fouled it off his shin guard. Apparently, he was x-rayed for a broken foot or toe. They were negative. Now, we did see a shot in the dugout where Bo was walking down, and he looked really pissed off, walking down into the clubhouse.
You mean Vladdy?
Or Vladdy walking down into the clubhouse.
Well, he took his next at bat, so he seemed to be.
He was limping though during that at bat, so we can assume that he went down and had X-rays taken, and the X-rays were fine, and he came back up and stayed in the game. 416-870-0590 star 590 1-888-666-0590 3-2. The New York Mets have beaten the Blue Jays in the first of this 3-game series at the Rogers Center. The Jays are now 68-77. Game 2 of this series goes tomorrow at 7:07. Let's step away, come back, maybe even hear from the skipper. It's Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. Visit timbermart.ca.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Sundays are for Junior Jays, and with all kinds of cool new games and activities in the exciting outfield district areas, there's no end to the family fun you'll have.
If you're feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
We're 2 men and a truck. So, you're moving to a new home, and all that's left to do is to call a mover you know you can trust. Well, naturally, you think...
Cheers, Insiders! Thanks for hanging out with us for this Toronto Blue Jays game. I just wanted to take a minute and say thank you so much for hitting that subscribe button and becoming an insider. We are almost at 37,000, and it is insane to see this amount of growth. But it's Toronto, and we knew Toronto sports fans could do big things. That's why we're here. So let's cheer on our Blue Jays, and let's get back to the action. But before you do that, if you're new, please hit that subscribe button and turn on that bell so you don't miss it when we go live for every single Toronto sports game. We'll see you guys back in the chat. Thanks for being an insider. Go Blue Jays, go.
Watch or stream on Sportsnet or listen to every game on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. All summer, only one source brings you closer to the action. Sportsnet, home of the Blue Jays.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep
because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle.
Did you know your vehicle rusts faster in warm weather? Protect your vehicle today. For a special summer offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Hi, I'm Buck Martinez, live from the showdown between Pizza and inflation. First to the plate, Pizza's big hitter, fixed rate pizza. An extra large 4-topping pizza for a fixed price of $17.99 until the end of 2024. I dare say, folks, inflation stands no chance against this all-star. Here's the delivery. And inflation strikes out. That's a swing and a drive for fixed rate pizza. Lock in yours today.
Go to pizza.ca. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Strike three. Kevin Gausman strikes out this side.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
In the 8th inning, you guys had just taken the lead, and then they end up kind of coming back. What was your read on how that Mets rally unfolded?
Leadoff walks are never great, and then errors don't help either. I think that if Ernie could have that back, he probably just eats that ball. And, kind of shot ourselves in the foot between wild pitches, pass balls, things like that. I thought Tommy threw the ball okay, a little bit erratic for him, but we kind of just didn't really help ourselves there. And we get down to, you talked about it yesterday, today. You're playing teams like this that are, fighting for every single thing. You got to play clean. And, it's 2 nights in a row we did not.
That is John Schneider, the manager of the Toronto Blue Jays, talking about how the 8th inning unfolded in tonight's 3-2 loss to the New York Mets, coupled with, what we saw, I should say, yesterday, an Addison Barger error contributing to an Atlanta Braves win, and the final play of the game, the ball hit to Spencer Horwitz. I thought that was a difficult play for Spencer Horwitz to make yesterday.
Just don't throw it.
Yeah,
that's what John's talking about.
Yeah, but and then of course we saw with Ernie Clement today. Look, one of the things we are going to find out, there are a lot of guys who are getting more consistent playing time than they've received in the past. And, Kevin, let's see how they hold up under that.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, how many of these dudes that are playing every day now are going to be everyday players come March 30th of next year? I mean,
well, you hope not many, to be honest.
Well, there you go. Like, there's going to be some lefties that are having some quality at bats and are probably going to be a part of your team. But if this is the team you're going to run out there March 31st of next year,
416-870-0590, star 591, 888-866-0590. With the win tonight, the New York Mets have moved a game ahead of the Atlanta Braves in the National League wild card race. The Mets are 79-65. They currently hold down the third wild card spot. They are a game back of the Arizona Diamondbacks and 1.5 back of the San Diego Padres, who hold down the top spot. It is a very good race. The Braves are a game back, as we said. They lost 1-0 to the Cincinnati Reds tonight. So, as is quite often the case at this time of the year, teams that are out of the race playing spoiler. And you can rest assured that in Atlanta, they're watching the results of this game just as the Mets are watching the results of any games involving the Braves. The Jays did have the tying run on first base with 2 out in the 9th inning, and Leo Jimenez hit a fly ball to right field that...
Take a grown man to go over there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a long way over there.
It was titillating for about a little bit.
Most of the time, the outfielder lets you know how far it's going.
And Starling Marte did not look like he was
worried.
That would probably be the best way to put it. Calling to Manitoba. You're on Blue Jays Talk. Whereabouts in Manitoba are you?
Just out by Beausejour, east of Winnipeg.
There you go. Welcome.
Hey, long-time listener. I just had a comment about Bichette there. I kind of think what's happened here with his comments is that his agent has probably pulled him aside and said, look, in the public right now, you look like a pouting suck. You're going to knock $5 million off your next contract if people think you're a bad attitude in the clubhouse. I have a feeling that he's just come clean and, someone's had a pep talk with him and said, listen, regardless whether you want to be here or not right now, you're hurting your value. The minute you look like a poor teammate or a bad guy in the clubhouse. I know that doesn't go far anymore. I'm just saying, you hear it mentioned over and over again. I have a feeling that, his agent or maybe his dad or someone has pulled him aside and said, listen, quit the pout. You're hurting your ability to go forward with a contract.
Yeah.
And I can see that happening. And another thing I wanted to bring up was the Jays' ability to pivot. We could learn such a lesson from the Tampa Bay Rays. We sit on our young guys till they're 25, 26. We hardly give them a sniff until the season blows apart, and it had to completely blow apart before we give them any kind of look. That wouldn't happen in Tampa. You could have a guy like Varsho right now, where the league seems to love that he can catch the ball even though he can't hit. Move him while he's hot. We move someone when they got no value. We don't bring someone in until we desperately have to. Like watching Kiermaier the last 2 months, he shouldn't have been in the lineup the last 2 months. He should have been moved long before that. When the season was done, it's time to see what we got. It's time to see some youth. I didn't mind losing tonight. It was fun. I didn't mind losing to the Phillies. We went toe-to-toe with the Phillies with a bunch of young kids. So, and it's the same when they had Mitch White a couple of years back or last year, whenever the hell they had him. They hung on to him because they were so scared someone else would get him. Meanwhile, nobody wanted him. It's the same with. It's the same with. What's his name that went to L.A. The second baseman, Biggio.
Yeah. Who's now with Atlanta.
By the time he left, he went to L.A. We hang on to these guys till they virtually have no value. I think we got to start looking a little bit on Tampa's side of thing. If I was in charge of this next year, I'm moving Varsho right now. He's shown that he doesn't hit well. But he's got good defensive prowess. He'll probably get a Gold Glove this year. Move him while you got something for him. Same with a guy like Kirk. He's a liability on the base pass. Yeah, he's hitting good in the second half under no pressure. What about moving some of these guys while they have value? Instead, we always wait, even back to the Donaldson days, the Batista days. We wait till they're worn right out and worth nothing.
Yeah,
and I just think it's a management problem that I don't know if they're spoiled because Tampa has to think that way, and like you said the other night, Milwaukee's got to think that way. There's got to be accountability for having absolutely no originality.
I appreciate the call. Here's the thing: this organization doesn't move quickly. You have to be nimble in order to pivot. This organization looks at everything as being answerable through a process. And I think that is part of the problem with this team. Buck made an interesting point the other night. I'm not carrying water for Nathan Lucas. I really don't care if he's here next year or not, to be honest. I truly don't.
Be nice.
Well, I know I don't. But here's the thing. I've watched him, and I keep asking myself, why did they bring Kevin Kiermaier back? Why didn't we have Nathan Lucas in left and Dalton Varsho in center and George Springer in right? This is what I don't understand. And you know what? It wasn't the contract didn't break the bank. I get that. But it was, Kevin, I don't know where you stand. It was just kind of puzzling.
Run preventing. He's a better defender than Nathan Lucas is. That's why. They were a run-preventing team going into the season. You know that as well as anybody. That's why they brought him back. Yeah. That doesn't take a brain surgeon to figure out that they're sticking to that part of it.
I'm not entirely certain that they would have been a worse run-preventing team with Dalton Varsho in center field.
Well, you answered your own question. You know why they did that. Other than Ohtani, there was no other impactful bat that they thought they could go out and get, and that could come in here and hit behind Vladdy, in front of Vladdy, that could carried the team for 3 weeks at a time.
But
that's why they went out and tried to piece it together with a 39-year-old Turner and a Kiermaier and a IKF that they already traded.
This gets back to the caller's point, though. They didn't, as far as we know, I mean, they didn't make a serious attempt to trade to address their issues. And, part of that is because the minor league system wasn't very deep. That's their fault. That's nobody else's fault but theirs. And
I think for me, look on the outside looking in, I think they sometimes believe in their players a little bit more than other people do.
Well,
and
what else?
I think that's what gets them in trouble, especially on the everyday guys.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this, Kevin.
Just talent-wise, matching up against other good teams, it's just not there.
I'm also going to say this. Believe people when they tell you who they are. And you tweaked onto this very early in the offseason. There was so much talk about the hitting coaches and the new communication. All of this stuff. I think these guys honestly believe that their hitting coaches are capable of taking guys and turning them into really good hitters.
Yeah, whatever their model is, they believe in their model.
That's right.
They would never tell you what that model is.
Well, no,
but whatever it is, they really, really, really believe in it. And they think that the 19 hitting coaches they got can spread the word to guys and make up for the deficiency that maybe the talent 1 through 9 they don't have. And for me, I just think sometimes the manager's got to write the names in there, and it's just better than the dude standing on the mound. And consistently all year, it's been one guy. How many times have you said, how many of the lineup guys would play on other good teams? And it's always the same answer.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
That's the dude who plays first. That just can't happen and think you're going to contend consistently against really good teams. Just not. Why do you think all these good teams go out and spend a Brinks truck worth of money on people? Because they have to, because they're more talented, and talented dudes cost tons of money.
Well,
it's just the way it is.
The caller's point about Tampa Bay, though, the other thing that has to be said is the Tampa Bay Rays are used to living on a small payroll.
Yeah.
One of the things that happens when you have a large payroll is it allows you to cover your mistakes. Or it at least gives you false comfort that you can cover for your mistakes. And I think maybe part of what we've seen here is poor payroll management by this front office. It's great that they went out and signed free agent pitchers. The free agent pitcher signings have by and large worked out.
Absolutely.
But they got to start spending some money on offense.
Yeah.
They really do.
Well, the times that it worked, the Orioles stunk. That's the problem, right? And now next year, probably the Rays are going to be much better. Here comes the Red Sox, and the Yankees and the Orioles are going to be good for the next 100 years. That's what I said. Talent is going to have to try and match up against everybody else's talent.
Let's wrap it up with Dave in Huntsville. Dave.
Hey, guys. Kind of builds on the theme of what you've been talking about, I guess, for the last little bit here. And that relates to really Schneider and some of the decisions and also how that interplays with some of the other decisions in the front office. So I guess a two-part question, or two questions separate but related. And the first is, what's your sense of the degree of support or goodwill that Schneider has in the clubhouse? And if it's strong, or I guess perhaps if it's not, regardless of what that answer is, do you think it's at all likely that we might see some of the players start to vocalize how they feel in the event that their support is there? Because that may help prevent Schneider becoming a sacrificial lamb and might force the issue with a little bit more accountability upstairs. I don't think anybody's going to say anything negative, certainly about the people making decisions about their contracts and cutting the checks. But if they vocalize their support for their manager and indirectly say or imply that he's maybe not the problem in their eyes, I'm just wondering if you think that would be at all smart on their part, if we're likely to see it, and what that might bring about or not come November 1st. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, I don't know how you feel about it. I've only really been in one situation where the players have made their point of view clear to the front office, and that was in Cito Gaston's the year Cito Gaston took over from John Gibbons, and the players basically revolted. And a final weekend of the season, a group of players, I believe it was Aaron Hill, Lyle Overbay, a couple of other guys. I mean, they had a meeting with Paul Beast and Alex Anthopoulos to put their concerns out there. I just don't think that happens.
Yeah, I think he's made when it comes to relating to John Schneider, I think he's made some adjustments when it comes to the rotation, how quickly he doesn't take a guy out, and the lineup. How would anybody in the lineup have any leg to stand on?
Well,
I mean, how many times have you ever heard John Schneider come out this year and be hard on somebody in the lineup?
Well, and the only thing the manager can do is control your playing time. And I look at that. You're going to have to find somebody in this team. I'm looking at all these.
Vladdy, who?
Well, no, I'm looking at guys. There's nobody in this team that can say John Schneider didn't give him a chance.
There you go.
I mean, good Lord.
So
everybody in this team has been given a chance by the manager. So, I think for most players, Kevin. I mean, you were a player. Isn't that the thing? Opportunity.
Absolutely.
That's the currency. That's what gets you paid. I can think I'm a great player. I can think I've got skills, but if you're not going to let me show it, it doesn't matter. So I don't think there's anybody in this team that can complain about John Schneider.
Yeah, I don't think you can judge John in my mind until he gets some more 1 through 9 talent in there.
Yeah. No, I'm with you completely on that, and that's probably a good thing, to be honest, because, I've said this. Is he the best manager I've ever covered? No. Is he the worst manager I've ever covered? No. I think he's done an acceptable job given what he's been presented with. I don't think anybody else would have done any better.
Some of them dudes in that lineup should throw him a party at the end of the season. How about that?
Yeah. Some guys are going to get jobs either with this team or with another organization because John Schneider's put their name in the lineup. 3-2, the New York Mets have beaten the Blue Jays. Game 2 of this series is tomorrow, 7:07. We'll be doing Blair and Barker from 4 to 6 Eastern tomorrow, as usual, on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and Sportsnet. Thank you for listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Grand Falls and Miramichi, New Brunswick. Protect your vehicle from rust today. Find your local family-owned Crown at crown.com, Canada's #1 rust protection.
This has been Major League Baseball play-by-play on SiriusXM and the SiriusXM app. Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game.
Calling this game.
Calling this game.
Why do I love calling this game? It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game. It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet. Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
It is bedlam at the bank as Bryce Harper has put the Phillies on top. There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play. Oh, my.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.
That ball's high.
Until leather hits leather and 40,000 fans lose their collective minds.
In a perfect symphony of chaos.
He jumped up on top of the wall, balanced himself, and caught it.
The way nothing triumphs a perfectly honest call.
I don't believe what I just saw.
And the way the right voice can make a moment live forever.
Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life. Outsiders may think this is just two teams.
The ball, a bat, and a microphone. But no.
For over 100 years, this has been the soundtrack of the American pastime.
He struck it out looking. It's over. It's over. The Rangers have won the World Series.
The soundtrack of summer. This is Major League Baseball on the radio.
Right now on SiriusXM.
All rise.
Coming in 5.
Get ready to play. 4.
Get up. Get up. 3.
Can you believe it?
Put your seatbelt on.
Wow. Talk about the game and all the stories on MLB Network Radio, SiriusXM 89, and the SiriusXM app.
Sox on Internet 861, Marlins on Internet 854. 7:05 p.m., New York Yankees taking the Kansas City Royals. Yankees on Sirius 211 XM 178 and Internet 858, Royals on Internet 851. 7:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays taking the New York Mets. Jays on Sirius 106 XM 179 and Internet 868, Mets on Internet 857. 7:10 p.m., Boston Red Sox taking the Baltimore Orioles. Red Sox on Sirius XM channels 89, Internet 843, Orioles on Internet 842. 7:40 p.m., Minnesota Twins taking the LA Angels. Twins on Sirius 138, XM 180 and Internet 856, Angels on Internet 852. 7:40 p.m., Chicago White Sox taking the Cleveland Guardians. White Sox on Sirius 137, XM 181 and Internet 845, Guardians on Internet 847. 10:10 p.m., LA Dodgers taking the Chicago Cubs. Dodgers on Sirius XM channels 89, Internet 853, Cubs on Internet 844, Spanish feed on Sirius 139, XM 182 and Internet 870. I'm Frank Trachtenberg with your SiriusXM MLB schedule for Monday, September the 9th. All times are Eastern, and please remember, all games, times, and channels are subject to change. Check SiriusXM.com for the latest updates. In Major League Baseball, 6:40 p.m., Atlanta Braves taking the Cincinnati Reds. Braves on Sirius 210, XM 177 and Internet 841, Reds on Internet 846. 6:40 p.m., Philadelphia Phillies taking the Tampa Bay Rays. Phillies on Sirius 208, XM 175 and Internet 860, Rays on Internet 866. 6:40 p.m., Pittsburgh Pirates face the Miami Marlins. Pirates on Sirius 209, XM 176 and Internet 861, Marlins on Internet 854. 7:05 p.m., New York Yankees taking the Kansas City Royals. Yankees on Sirius 211, XM 178 and Internet 858, Royals on Internet 851. 7:07 p.m., Toronto Blue Jays taking the New York Mets. Jays on Sirius 106, XM 179 and Internet 868, Mets on Internet 857. 7:10 p.m., Boston Red Sox taking the Baltimore Orioles. Red Sox on Sirius XM channels 89, Internet 843, Orioles on Internet 842.
Follow every second of the action on NHL Network Radio. From behind the bench to every play on the ice. If it's hockey, it's on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91.
To talk about the New York Yankees, Xavier Scruggs from SiriusXM MLB Network Radio on SiriusXM Channel 89 was on to discuss how important to the lineup Giancarlo Stanton is.
There's no undermining how important he is in the lineup. If he can continue to just give them some sort of power consistency, right? Be able to give a little bit of that protection, swing the bat like we saw yesterday, using the middle of the field, going dead center. I think we all know after watching Giancarlo now for a lot of years, in which you talked about 10 years with 25 homers, when he's going best, he's using the opposite field, driving the ball with backspin the other way. So if he can do that, we know that he'll have success. But it's been great watching his ability to do that. And also, when you talk about being dwarfed, I think Judge dwarfs Giancarlo, because after Giancarlo had that MVP season and then went over to the Yankees, he never got back to those numbers. And what those numbers look like are what Judge's numbers look like consistently now. So it's almost weird, because you've